This is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network. Our next program begins in 90 seconds. This is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network. Our next program begins in 1 minute. This is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network. Our next program begins in 30 seconds. "20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
The anticipation is building. Now so is the activity. Welcome to the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as preparations continue for the 98th running of the Indianapolis 500. I'm Mark Janes. We're going to wrap up Carb Day activities for you this first 30 minutes, and then at the top of the hour, begin to set the stage for the 12th Freedom 100. Live coverage of the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio is brought to you in part by Firestone. Firestone believes that finish lines are for quitters. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. By the Indy Racing Experience, the fastest seat in sports. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Hinchman Racing Uniforms. Nothing fits like a Hinchman. Carfax. Avoid buying a used car with flood damage. Carfax makes it easier. Shop for the right used car with the right history at Carfax.com. Exerton's new Smart Glow temporal scanner thermometer, making life easier for today's families. Progressive Insurance. Last year, over 3 million drivers switched to Progressive. Call or click today and find out if you could save. The American Dairy Association. Winners drink milk. And Verizon and IndyCar. Driving Technology, the 2014 Verizon IndyCar Series. We are here in the Pagoda, high atop the famed Yard of Bricks. Happy to be joined by Dave Wilson. We'll have Rob Howden, we'll have Greg Rakestraw, and Nick Yeoman on pit road. And Dave Wilson, as we said, not only is the anticipation building, the activity as well, as we are in the final 30 minutes of preparations for the 98th 500. What a spectacular sight to see all 33 cars making their way around this storied 2.5-mile oval.
It just gets my blood to pumping, Mark. And there's what's so neat. I mean, you see a lot of the normal people up front. You see the defending champion right now as quick as Tony Kanaan at 227.8 miles an hour. Then you got Dixon, Elio, Mikel Aloshin, the rookie. He's up there in the fourth quick spot. Ryan Hunter-Way. Look at Joseph Newgarden there from that little team, the Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing. They're 6 quick right now. Ed Carpenter, who will start his second 500 in a row from the pole. And then, Mark, this is the one that I love. 8th quick this morning. Buddy Lazier, the 1996 champion, that little team that the Lazier family has put together out of Colorado there. They come here at the last minute and throw things together. And this morning, he's working good. Of course, this isn't race day, but he's 8th quick this morning, Buddy Lazier. It'd be great to see him be in contention come Sunday.
Dave Wilson celebrating his 47th Indianapolis 500. Not with the radio network, but celebrating his 47th Indianapolis 500. A young man celebrating his 5th anniversary with the IMS radio network. He's down on pit road. Nick Yeoman.
Appreciate that, Mark Janes. I have the privilege of being down on pit lane for all of the Verizon IndyCar Series races. This practice session, not like the rest of them. Very tense down here. I made my way down to pit out to some of the faster drivers. The drivers starting in the first 3 rows, one of them including J.R. Hildebrand. His car sits on pit lane. They've made an adjustment to the rear wing. But this has been a very tense session down here. Everyone focused. There's a lot of teams still looking for speed. as Dave Wilson talked about, so impressive to see Buddy Lazier up there in 8th. This is one of the tightest qualifying fields we have seen. The margin for error is so slim. Talked to a lot of drivers yesterday during media day, and they said, boy, there is not a big difference from being the fastest car to, say, the 20th or 21st. So, Mark, this is a hectic practice session. There are some teams that have a lot of work to get done and a lot of anxious drivers here as we close in on the 98th running of the Indy 500.
Always interested to see the new crop of rookies at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The IMS Radio Network has them, too, from time to time. Had a little puff of smoke, a little kiss off the wall coming out of turn number 4. We're going to get our eyes on it. Number 22 machine of Sage Karam had a moment down there in turn number 4. As we said, one of the newest members of the IMS Radio Network, still got the rookie stripes on, but we're thrilled to have him. Greg Rakestraw.
Mark, thank you very much. And I just had to be stationed right next to the pits of Sage Karam. Was positioned between him and the National Guard car of Graham Rahal. Everybody's looking at the monitor trying to figure out exactly what happened with Sage Karam's car. You expected a rookie moment at some point in time this month for him, being the youngest driver in the field at just 19 years of age. So again, carb day, not the experience he wanted so far. To back up the comments of Nick Yeoman, there was some talk that maybe because of the extra practice session that was added on Monday, we would not see as much activity on carb day. Well, it's been the exact opposite. There's been a flurry of activity since these cars were out on the track some 35 minutes ago. But unfortunately for Sage Karam's team, they're going to have a bit more to do this weekend than they had originally planned. Mark.
Tony Kanaan quickest as the cars report to pit road. Scott Dixon P2. They're running in the 227 range. Elio among those in the top 5. We want to welcome back to the anchor's position of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network. I know he's had a good time at St. Pete. I know he enjoyed being back at Long Beach and Barber and the Grand Prix of Indy, but I would imagine nothing matches your anticipation of being back in the anchor's chair for the 98th running of the Indianapolis 500. Welcome back, Paul Page.
Thank you, Mark. I've been smiling ever since the start of the season. Let's run this thing now. I'm ready for it. I got a good eye on Sage Karam as he came off of 4, and the back end just washed a little out on him. It was loose, and he just touched the wall. There's a black mark up there, and then he did an incredible save, got it back under control, and we have a yellow for it, and in fact, he's just pulled into the pits. But that was some very nifty driving that he just did.
That young man, part of an interesting story this week, Paul. But he's so wet behind the ears, he missed his high school prom, but the team took care of that for him. They hosted a prom for him in the garage this week.
Well, if you got to do it, you got to do it. I love those stories, especially with guys like Sage. And he's been so good. I mean, we've had him on the air quite a bit, and he's done a good job.
About 22 minutes remain in preparations for the 98th running of the Indianapolis 500. Again, Tony Kanaan, quickest so far in this final practice session. Dixon Castro-Neves also there among the top 5. All 33 cars have been on the course. Aloshin, Ryan Hunter-Ray, your top 5 as we continue here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
There are few greater traditions in sports than when the 500-mile race winner pulls into victory lane and is greeted with an ice-cold bottle of milk. And consider this, the 500's bottle of milk tradition has been recognized nationally as the sports world's coolest prize. Now and always, milk's the driver's favorite taste at the end of the race.
Get the calcium, vitamins, and protein you need to compete with a refreshing glass of milk. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association, your Indiana dairy farm families.
Remember, winners drink milk.
All right, here we go, Brad. When we're out, the game is yours.
Pitch the ball already!
She's out! That is the game! Woo!
Nothing says Memorial Day like a ball game and a barbecue. Come into Lowe's for Kingsford Charcoal 20-pound 2-packs, now only $9.99. And Master Forge 4-burner gas grill, now only $149, down from $199. Lowe's, never stop improving. Offers valid through 5/26 while supplies last. See store for details.
You are listening to the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio.
At the track, hearing every word is critical.
A good stop, he's down and away. Will Power now making...
If you want to hear what the pros hear, use what the pros use. The IMS Radio Network depends on racing electronics.
No changes on that car. Justin will rejoin in the 10th position.
For handheld scanners, headsets, and more, visit a Racing Electronics trailer in the trackside souvenir area. Or shop online at racingelectronics.com. Racing Electronics, an official partner of the Verizon IndyCar Series.
Hi, this is Graham Rahal, driver the number 15 National Guard IndyCar. You serve proudly, and your country is better for it. What about serving again? This time for your community as well as your country. That's what you can do in the Army National Guard. During natural disasters, you can be there for the people of your community, rescuing the stranded, delivering food, medical supplies, and bringing hope. It's part-time, so you can live your full-time life as a civilian. Bring your experience and leadership skills home to your community. Learn more at nationalguard.com.
As they come to the green flag on Sunday, Ed Carpenter, for the second year in a row, will be your pole sitter. 4-lap average, 231.067 miles per hour. Joined on the front row by James Hinchcliffe and Will Power. And Dave Wilson, you have to go all the way down to the 6th row until you find a car that did not have a 4-lap average of 230 miles per hour. Now, we didn't flirt with the all-time record set by R.A. Lyondike, but it's clear to me those that come here for qualifying, that 230-mile-an-hour announcement over the PA makes all the difference in the world.
For years, the Indianapolis 500 qualifying, it was a search for speed, and every year you saw it get a little faster, a little faster. In 1972, it jumped almost 18 miles an hour. Bobby Unser sitting on the pole because of some innovations they did. But you're right, that 230-mile-an-hour mark, that lights some fire under people. And I remember being here in 77 when Tom Sneaver broke the 200-mile-an-hour barrier. We had a crowd on the first day of qualifying the size of race day. And, of course, when R.A. Lyondike back in 96, you said he went 4-lap average of 236.4 miles an hour, which has stood since 96. Those magical speeds and seeing those records broken brought people out. And it's good to see us back over 230 miles an hour again.
Paul Page, some tweaks to the qualifying. No, they weren't tweaks. They were radical changes to the qualifying format. Let's call it what it is. But I think all in all, in doing the post-mortem on it, when your pole sitter's not decided until he comes off of turn number 4 on his final lap, that's all you can ask for.
I talked to a lot of people before and after, and the difference from before, okay, we're going to watch it, we're going to see what it's like. Afterward, 201, they said what a great deal the qualifying was. And to do it the way they did it, with setting the field of 33 on one day and then qualifying the back part of the field from 10th on back and then going to the Fast 9 and seeing those numbers come up, and additionally kind of hearkening back to the old days with a couple of cars behind the front of the field, the front 3 rows that are faster.
Greg Rakestraw, sadly, the day is done. The damage not too extreme, we don't think, but they're pushing the 22 machine back to Gasoline Alley.
The damage was minimal to Sage Karam's race car. One of the only areas affected was kind of one of the sponsor logos. It's the Brantley Gilbert Just As I Am Tour. The good news is the car is pretty much just as it was. I think it's more of kind of maybe you were bearing the psyche of a young driver making a mistake at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, more so than any car damage. But just to be safe, they're going to wheel it back into the garage. So the hour-long sessions are going just about 35 minutes for Sage Karam. Mark?
And we're watching cars come down the straightaway, Paul Page, in tandem, and it almost looks like race conditions. It's clear to me that the drivers are trying to see how that car works in traffic, how it works in clean air, dirty air, and who knows, we may blow that 60-some-odd passes we enjoyed a year ago right out of the water on Sunday.
Yeah, it's actually surprised me at how many are running close together and how many are testing the draft. They say that it goes back almost a full straightaway, but they also say when you get within 5 car lengths of the car in front of you, everything changes. I've been surprised to see how many have head down the front straight and into turn 1 almost side by side and sorting it out. So, yeah, they're searching. This is also a time when you've got to figure what your fuel will be for the race. This is your only real chance to load it up, put it in race trim, and then find out how far you can go on a tank of fuel, which is critical to planning all the tactical aspects of the race.
Your son, of course, an engineer, part of that winning team with the late Dan Weldon a couple of years ago here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And for the novice, they're not just here to entertain the fans on this day. There is a plan going into this carb day.
Well, yeah, it gives them their last opportunity. It's happening in the time of day that the race will actually start at 11 o'clock to 12 here in Indianapolis. The race will actually start a little after 12 on race day, Indianapolis time. But this particular moment is not just a test for the car. It's a test for the pit crews. Do we put everything in the right place? Every time the car comes in, they go over the wall and simulate a pit stop, if not actually do one. And it's many other things. Like most of these teams have very complex radio networks, not just from the pits to the car, but within the crew itself and back to the garages. They're testing those kind of things. This is the moment, because this is the only time when those frequencies and everything are actually in full operation. So all of those little tests are happening, and they have an hour to do it, and then they'll have plenty of time to actually practice their pit stops, but the cars will not move for those pit stops.
Fans, don't forget, tomorrow, May the 24th, is Legends Day here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We are honoring Mario Andretti. It's presented by Firestone, and we'll talk to Dave Wilson in just a minute about another legend that's being honored in a rather unique way here. But first, let's find out from Sage Karam. Rob Houghton, what happened to Sage when he had that brush with the wall in turn 4?
Stand down here with Sage Karam right now. Sage, that was a big one, a big wiggle coming out of the corner, big slide, but you're able to hold on to it. Give us your thoughts on attacking the wall here.
Yeah, this is a big learning experience for me. Every day I'm learning something new, and today, more of a race trim situation, running with more cars. And I was following Hinchcliffe. It looked like he had a little bit of a wiggle in 3, so I had a huge run going into 4, and I got closer than I should have really been. And I had a wing low, and then he went low, so I crossed his path with the air, and I had no air to the front wing, and I had the thing fully locked to the left, trying to turn it, and then once I lost it on the bottom, the air hit the wing, and since I had so much lock, the thing just snapped, and we were lucky to save that thing and just get away with minor damage.
Obviously, all the experience coming up through the Mazda Road to Indy, you had to use it all there, and it looks like it was a big full wheel getting the thing off the wall.
Yeah, I was counter-steer full left, counter-steer full right, left, and then, the pit wall was coming up, the outside wall. It was not a good situation, but like I said, thankfully we managed to hold on to it and keep it to minimal damage.
Another learning experience, though, for you. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, exactly. I'm learning every day, and, I'm glad it happens today and not Sunday.
Well done, bud.
Thank you.
There he is, folks. Sage Karam, another learning experience, and he said it's straight up. That one could have been big, but he did a good job keeping it off the wall.
That is literally climbing into the cockpit with Sage Karam. Nice job, Rob Houghton. Well, Dave Wilson, for folks that haven't been here in a while, maybe since even going back to the Rick Mears era, don't rub your eyes. You're not seeing things. That is a yellow Pennzoil car, and it's being piloted by a guy who's trying to join that 4-time Winners Club. A great livery on the car of Elio Castroneves.
Yeah, Rick Mears, such a legend, and did such a great job. And that yellow car is so iconic. And Elio, I'll tell you, drivers are very possessive about their helmets and how they decorate them and paint them, and a lot of them have them the same as they were when they first began racing. Well, Elio has always had a certain design on his helmets that brought him 500 wins. Well, he has changed the pattern on his helmet to match the same pattern that Rick had years ago in that yellow car, and so it is really a neat-looking tribute to not only Pennzoil, but Team Penske, but Rick Mears and Elio and everybody teaming together to bring back some great memories. But that car really looks good and really looks fast.
Kanaan, Dixon, Bell, Castroneves, and Oloshin, your top 5 as preparations continue for the 98th running of the Indianapolis 500.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Jason Ray noticed a blue birthmark had appeared on his forehead in the shape of the Geico gecko. Jason felt compelled to switch his car insurance to Geico and save hundreds of dollars with great discounts. By nightfall, the birthmark had disappeared. Jason's wife, Jeannie, thinks it was probably just blueberry jam from breakfast. Jason prefers to believe otherwise.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This is Lauren Bolander-Kanan, and my husband Tony won the 2013 Indianapolis 500, and he knows fast. So when the youngest Kanan, Leo, or any of us get sick, we use the Exergen Smart Glow Temporal Scanner. The Exergen Smart Glow is so easy, simple to use, and it's fast. The Exergen Smart Glow Temporal Scanner is the #1 choice of nurses, pediatricians, and families nationwide. In IndyCar, every second counts, and the same is true when someone in your family is sick. So always use the Exergen Smart Glow Thermometer for the accurate read that is fast.
You are listening to the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you can donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-724-6115. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car. And as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now. Call 1-800-724-6115. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-724-6115. That's 1-800-724-6115.
Sunshine, blue skies, thousands of fans. Indy cars at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is where we work, folks, but we have a hard time convincing you that we are at work. It's a labor of love, no question, and we're thrilled to be here. Final preparations underway for the 98th running of the Indianapolis 500. It's not going so well for some of the rookies in the field. Not only is the day done for Sage Karam after light contact with the torn forewall, but Greg Rakestraw, you say it early into this session for James Davison.
Yeah, James Davison's day ends a bit earlier than he had planned as well. James, tell us why you were in the pits and exactly what happened.
We got an issue with the starter mechanism shaft at the back of the car, so unfortunately we're done for the session. But I guess you're better to find out these things today than race day. Yeah, it would have been nice to have got those last 15 minutes in. Now it's just a little less information we know going into race day, but you know, the car was better than it was on Monday, so that's a plus. So, yeah, it's not all bad news.
You're carrying the kind of the badge of honor of Sir Jack Brabham on your car this race. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot, you know, being a fellow Australian racing driver at the Indianapolis 500. There hasn't been many of us. I think there's been less than 10 in the books. So, you know, what he achieved in his career, but what he achieved here, you know, with the rear engine Cooper Evolution in 1961, and you know, I have a very good relationship with the Brabham family, David, Jeff, Jack's sons, and his grandson Matt in Indy Lights. We're all good friends, and really proud to be paying that tribute to Jack, who deserves so much more than that. You know, it is just incredible what he achieved during his career, and yeah, happy to have it on the 33 always evolving KV racing car on race day, and just really proud of my whole team and what we've been able to achieve in such a short amount of time.
Hey, James, best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Let's keep in the pits and go to Nick Yeoman.
Yeah, let's talk about one of the other rookies, Kurt Busch. If you weren't aware, had a big moment earlier this week and wrecked off of turn number 2. That car completely destroyed, and they had to go to the backup for Marco Andretti's car. That car has been on the track for quite a bit in this practice session, pushing 40 laps for Kurt Busch. Craig Hampson, his engineer, was in no position to talk on air, but I asked him a couple questions a few moments ago about the balance of that race car, and he says it's not bad. Kurt only 23rd quick, but certainly trying to find the balance of that race car in this very hectic session. There was some confusion from a lot of fans. Of course, this race draws some of the NASCAR crowd with Kurt coming over and attempting the double. He will still start in row 4. He will start 12th despite having to go to a backup car, but Mark Jaynes, a very hectic session for him and for all the Andretti Autosport cars. One of the advantages for Kurt Busch is Marco Andretti, his teammate, will be pitted right in front of him, so he's going to have a nice out as far as pitting tomorrow, but this is a very busy session for one of our biggest storylines, Kurt Busch.
Speaking of one-offs, a guy that's a master at it here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is Townsend Bell, and he is currently 3rd quick. Tony Kanaan continues P1. Scott Dixon is 2nd quick. They're all running in the 227.7, 228 range. Elio Castro-Neves continues 4th quick. 5th quick will be Mikel Aloshin. We're going to continue to cover this final practice session, Carb Day, and then at the top of the hour, we'll switch mode and kind of get you ready for the Freedom 100. And we're thrilled to have with us today a couple of guys out on the course that'll help us bring the action to you today. First of all, he travels with us with the Verizon IndyCar Series throughout the course of the season. Thrilled to have him calling the action through the turn number 1, South Short Chute, and turn number 2, Complex. We say good morning to Michael Young.
And good morning to you, Mark Jaynes. Just a thrill to be out here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. My vantage point, as I look to my left, I look directly at the inside line here at the south end of the course, and all the way down through turn number 2 and the entrance of turn number 3. A beautiful day here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as, again, we get ready for the Freedom 100, the 12th edition of this fantastic race. Amazing that just a mere 12 years ago, Ed Carpenter won his very first Indy Lights race in this Freedom 100 with A.J. Foyt Racing. The Turn 1 grandstands packed with folks. Going to have a great day today as we finish up this Verizon IndyCar Series practice. The cars making their way now through turn number 2. And we talked about Tony Kanaan being quick. He is now exiting turn number 2 and headed down the backstretch to turn number 3 where we talk to our good friend Jerry Baker.
It's been kind of interesting back here. I think some of these guys may have forgotten, Mark James, that this is only a practice session, because I just saw 3 cars come 3 wide into number 3. You're up here during race day. You know that won't work. They finally did back up. The view, as has been pointed out, we can see them all the way down to turn number 2. They'll come right at us. They'll sweep to this number 3 turn. Mark, I keep thinking back to last year when I handed it off to you for the final lap of that Indy Lights race. I had them at 3 wide. By the time you got them to the finish line, they were 4 wide. I don't see why, based on what I saw in qualifying yesterday, we may have that situation all over again. Here comes every car on the track by me right now. You can hear them. They set up in single file. Mark, this is a great view. I envy you on race day.
Well, we are thrilled to have one of the greats of all time back with us in turn number 1, where he belongs on race day. Welcome back, Jerry Baker. Preparations continue for the 98th running of the Indianapolis 500.
Welcome to the Indy 500.
As title sponsor of the 2014 Verizon IndyCar Series, Verizon is advancing the way racing is experienced. With Verizon technology, drivers, crews, and fans can better experience the thrilling moments that make racing legendary.
And the green flag comes out.
Verizon and IndyCar, driving technology. Download the IndyCar 14 app.
Airtime message and data rates may apply. Available on select smartphones. Don't call or text while driving.
If you're looking for classic styling, the ultimate in protection, and world-class customer service, then you are looking for Henchman. Henchman Racewear is the pioneer in driver suit technology, producing custom-made racing safety apparel for some of the biggest names in open-wheel racing. Henchman, stop by their store on Gasoline Alley Road. It's just 1 mile south of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, you can find everything you need online at henchmanracewear.com.
You are listening to the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway invites you to help celebrate over 100 years of tradition by purchasing a customizable brick to be installed on the grounds of the famed Brickyard. Engraved with your name, company, or special message, your brick will preserve a lifetime of IMS memories. Hurry, a limited number of bricks are available. Specialty packages, including a replica brick and display case, are also available. Make your next visit permanent with a commemorative brick installed on these hallowed grounds. Visit IndianapolisMotorSpeedway.com/brick program or call 1-877-493-4IMS to reserve your brick today.
I'm IndyCar driver Joseph Newgarden, and I'd like to talk about a serious issue, skin cancer. I'd never known anyone with melanoma until now. My good friend Katie was diagnosed when she was just 17, and we'd like to remind you to be sun safe.
Join us for the 10th annual Outrun the Sun Race Against Melanoma, June 14th in Indianapolis. Run, walk, or simply honor someone who's been affected by skin cancer. We welcome your support.
Register now at outrunthesun.org.
Just about 3 minutes remaining in this final warm-up before all of the focus for these drivers and their crews turn to Sunday, race day. Their chance at racing immortality to have their likeness forever emblazoned on that Borg-Warner trophy that sits guarding the yard of bricks down below us. As Simon Pagenaud said, Paul Page, when he won the inaugural Grand Prix of Indy, the way I'm introduced is going to be changed forever. And that's exactly what this race will do on Sunday for one of these drivers who's yet to experience that. For those that have, it will further solidify their place in racing history. Now, many changes this month of May. But despite all of that, nothing changes, and that's the importance of the Indianapolis 500.
No, the whole simplicity of it, of the challenge itself is what I love. We're 200 laps, 800 left-hand turns, 500 miles. Only they and their teams can do it. And that's a very... They're up in rarefied air, the people who compete in the Indianapolis 500. And they all have an incredible sense of history. I love the crowd that's been in here today. I love the fact that everybody's running flat out, and I am so looking forward to that key moment when they say, gentlemen, start your engines.
Many people have joined us here this morning and this afternoon to bring the Freedom 100 to you. You'll hear from Michael Young and Jerry Baker. They'll be calling the action in the turns. We will have Rob Howden and Greg Rakestraw on pit road. Nick Yeoman was on pit road for this final part of the IndyCar warm-up. He will join us in the booth. Later on, we'll be joined by the historian of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Donald Davidson, and Dave Wilson will be along too. We hope our driver analysts throughout the course of the season, Pippa Mann, will have an opportunity to join us. If not, we understand. She's a little busy preparing for her opportunity to run in the Indianapolis 500. Final preparations continue for this 98th running. We look at timing and scoring, and we see Tony Kanaan, Scott Dixon, Townsend Bell, Elio Castroneves, and Mikel Aloshin continue to be their top five. And Dave will give you a chance to echo the sentiments of Paul Page. No matter what you do in terms of qualifying, no matter what other races are run during this month of May, there's still nothing like Sunday, the day of the Indianapolis 500.
No, it's the headliner. It's the greatest race in the world. In the world, and there's no questioning that. It's still the world's largest one-day sporting event, and still the importance and the prestige worldwide of this race has never faltered. And no matter what you do to add to the festivities, whether it's you add the Grand Prix of Indianapolis up front, or you add the concerts that we see out here, and these huge crowds that have come out here to Carb Day, and it's really made this whole a great big weekend party, still the gem is when they throw that green flag to start the Indianapolis 500. It has been this will be the 98th time coming up on 100 years, 100 races actually, and there's no way you can tarnish that reputation. It's still, there's nothing in the world like the start of the Indianapolis 500.
Not only do we have an impressive array of drivers ready to run the 98th running of the Indianapolis 500, an outstanding array of broadcasters will be here to bring it all to you. When we come back, we'll begin to set the stage for the 12th running of the Freedom 100 here on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network. We pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is IndyCar Radio on the IMS Radio Network.
There are few greater traditions in sports than when the 500-mile race winner pulls into victory lane and is greeted with an ice-cold bottle of milk. And consider this, the 500's bottle of milk tradition has been recognized nationally as the sports world's coolest prize. Now and always, milk's the driver's favorite taste at the end of the race.
Get the calcium, vitamins, and protein you need to compete with a refreshing glass of milk. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association, your Indiana dairy farm families.
Remember, winners drink milk.
This is Lauren Bolander-Kanaan, and my husband Tony won the 2013 Indianapolis 500, and he knows fast. So when the youngest Kanaan, Leo, or any of us get sick, we use the Exergen Smart Glow Temporal Scanner. The Exergen Smart Glow is so easy, simple to use, and it's fast. The Exergen Smart Glow Temporal Scanner is the #1 choice of nurses, pediatricians, and families nationwide. In IndyCar, every second counts, and the same is true when someone in your family is sick. So always use the Exergen Smart Glow Thermometer for the accurate read that is fast.
You are listening to the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio.
The word is out. One of the most recent weight loss products that has the whole world talking is now available in the U.S. If you want the newest, faster fat buster to aid in weight loss, the name is Garcinia Cambogia. On the Dr. Oz TV show, Garcinia Cambogia was described as the holy grail of weight loss. But why is everyone buzzing about Garcinia Cambogia? You see, Garcinia Cambogia is a dual-action ingredient. It can help you lose weight naturally by helping inhibit fat production, meaning that what you eat is turned into energy that you use rather than store. It can also help suppress your appetite by increasing serotonin levels in your body. To get a risk-free bottle of genuine Garcinia Cambogia from Genuine Supplements, call 1-888-695-2429. Call right now and also get a free copy of the Dr. Oz book, You Losing Weight. Call right now, 1-888-695-2429. Again, that's 1-888-695-2429.
While conventionally believed a ladder is used to easily ascend, that's certainly not accurate when it comes to racing. Getting to the top is an arduous journey, tiring, expensive, tedious. But reaching the top of the open-wheel ladder can be oh so rewarding. I'm Mark James. Welcome to IndyCar Radio's coverage of the Freedom 100 on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network. Today, 11 talented young drivers consider themselves almost to the top rung, Indy Lights. And why shouldn't they? A number of those who will roll off the grid for the 98th running of the Indianapolis 500 traveled this same path. Let's meet them. Let's start with Nick Yeoman, who's downstairs. Nick?
Yeah, and I am with our pole sitter, Luis Razia, and we were just chatting about the moment, and you're going to enjoy this race on Sunday, the Indy 500, and soak it all in, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the first time that I'm going to watch the 500. It's the most famous race in the world, so it's going to be massive, and I want to make sure I'm watching everything closely.
Let's talk about today, because you have a very fast race car sitting on the pole. What kind of race do you expect?
I'll be trying to be safe at first, and try to lead as much as possible, and then see if we can space a little bit from the pack behind, and if we can play, the last 5 laps with the guys gonna be with us, then fine. I'm gonna avoid to be in traffic because our car have been behaving so well on traffic, so I'll try to lead as much as I can.
Checkered flag just flew on Carb Day, the final practice wrapping up. Luis, I want to ask you, we were talking, you said this year was your first trip to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Your thoughts on this place, all the fans? I mean, it's really something special, isn't it?
It is. It is very special, and was special for me to win a couple weeks ago here, and to be on the pole back-to-back, it's so good. And, I've never seen so many people in my life in a racetrack, and this is so cool to be involved with, and I'm really glad to be here and grateful to have this opportunity.
Did you get a chance to watch last year's race at all and study some film and that incredible finish they had?
Yes. I've been watching Indy 500, since I was a little kid, but I've never been here actually myself. And I watched some Indy Lights races to also learn from the mistakes and learn from the good moves that drivers have done in the past. It have been difficult because each race you need to read particularly. So let's see what I can do.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
That's our pole sitter, Luis Razia. Let's go over to Rob Howden.
Standing here with the other Schmidt-Peterson driver who's going to be on the front row here today, Jack Harvey. Congratulations, of course, on a fantastic run there in qualifying. Your season just kind of keeps getting better and better. You've been consistent. You've been on the podium a couple times. That first win seems like it's just around the corner, and what a better place to do it than here at Indianapolis in the Freedom 100.
Well, I mean, it's a very special place, mate. The first time I came, I was overwhelmed with the history here, the atmosphere here, and I came in December, so, and everyone knows how bad the winter was, so to come on the weekend of the 500, we're carrying good momentum at the minute, and, this would be a real special place to take the first win.
Obviously, you were able to do some 2-car, 3-car running yesterday in practice as well, and you topped the charts in the morning practice session. That bodes well. And not only did you have good speed in qualifying, but you also ran really well in the draft.
Yeah, I actually thought our car's been better in the racing simulation and in quali, so yeah, I mean, we're pretty confident for what we're going to achieve. It's a long race, and anyone who's here last year, 4-wide finish, so anything really can happen. We just got to make sure we're there at the end to be in the right place, the right time to either, just to win the race, mate.
We talk a lot about momentum in motorsports, and really the Schmidt-Peterson crew really has that right now. You got off to a rougher start, but you guys were able to work your way closer, and you just keep getting better and better. Do you guys feel like you're peaking right now?
Hopefully not. I mean, hopefully there's always more to come, but definitely we've picked up the momentum. We acknowledge that we were maybe not quite on the pace the first few weekends. When we came for the road course a couple of weekends ago, I mean, we were, speed was right there. This weekend it's been fast, so, however the race goes, it's just a big thank you to all the Schmidt-Peterson guys for working so hard, because, without them, for sure, we wouldn't be 1 and 2.
Lastly, they brought up, talking to Luis Razia, that about big 4-wide finish last year. Does that kind of throw the strategy out the window, knowing all you really need to do is be in the hunt at the very end, because then it's going to be that last couple lap battle?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I watched some of the old races back, and what I took away from it, there's no set way to win. You just got to be in the right place at the right time, which is sometimes tricky, and just try and pick up the pieces if it all goes your way. And, last year was an incredible finish, but one of the best finishes probably ever at the Speedway. And hopefully we can make it more exciting in a safe way, and hopefully we're the one on the top step of the podium.
Jack, have a great day today.
Thank you.
There is, folks, Jack Hawkworth, F3, GP3, and just getting better and better here in the Indy Lights program. A win just around the corner for this young Englishman. Let's go over to Greg.
The green room is about to be empty. We've already talked about kind of the Brabham family legacy with James Davis and others, so it's very fitting that Matthew joins us now. What has this month experience been like for you so far?
It's been crazy. It's really the first time I've been a part of the event driving in it, and obviously I watched it for the first time a couple of years ago and I was completely blown away. And my dad told me a lot of stories about this place, and you never really know, you can never really fathom what it actually is until you get here and experience it yourself. So to be experiencing it for the first time is just incredible.
Knowing the facility, knowing the crowds you're racing in front of today, anything you got to do to kind of get that focus sharp, or are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. I think it's just like any other race. I'm not going to be looking in the stands. I'm going to be looking at the track and other cars around me and where I need to be. So, I'm focused, I'm happy, and, I'm just kind of enjoying the moment. It's not often you can be in a green room like this and be racing in front of a crowd like this. So I think I'm just going to approach it and just try and enjoy it.
Best of luck in turning 40 laps this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Let's kind of take you through one lap today. Rob Howden is standing by with Gabby Chavez, who, if you will paint the mental picture of a lap around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Gabby, when we do some of the road course lap rounds, it's a little more obviously technical. This one, 4 corners, but they're different corners, and really they have their own technical aspects as well. Tell me, when you're rolling down into turn number 1, give me a little lap around here.
Yeah, well, you're passing start-finish line right around 195 mile an hour. You want to enter turn 1 with a late apex, set up the exit for the short shoot. You want to really, be really smooth with your hands, release the car as early as you can, get that speed going to set up turn 2. And really, turn 2, it's all about the exit to the back straight. You're going to make a lot of passes there. You want to get a great exit off of it. You want to be super smooth, super gentle with the steering, with your car. Get a good exit. You want to let the car come down a little bit to the middle of the track, scrub the less speed possible. We'll be going into turn 3, right about 190 mile an hour. And same as turn 1. Just you want to get that car turned in as late as possible. You want to make that straightaway as long as possible. Get that late apex, nice early exit, and get ready for turn 4. And this is where we went 3 wide last year. I don't know if we'll be able to do that this year, but man, I'm sure we're going to have some great racing. Expect a big final lap shootout through turn 3 and turn 4 and into the start finish.
Your qualifying was solid. You were 3rd actually after the first lap. You dropped to 5th, starting on the inside of row 3. What are your thoughts from there?
Oh, we got a good race car. That's all that matters around here. Qualifying, as we saw last year, means so little. So it's really all about the race. We want to be in a position that we could challenge for the win, and that's all we're going to try to do out there. Just put ourselves in a position that we can take it to the guys in the last couple laps.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
There is, folks, Gabby Chavez, part of that great 4-wide battle last year. He finished 2nd. He wants that last rung on the podium. Let's go over. Back to Greg.
Literally, the drivers get ready to walk out for introductions. We have time for one quick comment from Chase Austin. Chase, what's going through your mind before this big race?
Just really excited. It's my 4th time running it, trying to get the best finish I have. I think it's like 7th is my best one so far, so trying to improve on that. And just really excited. Can't wait to get in the car.
Might be about 100,000 people out here watching this today. What does that mean to you?
They're not on the track, so I'm not even worried about them. I know I got 10 other competitors. That's who I'm worried about.
All right, best of luck, Chase.
Thank you.
Mark, back to you.
Preparations continue for the Freedom 100, the 12th such running. We'll be back with more on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network.
If you're shopping for a used car, you need to start your search at Carfax.com. A Carfax report can help you find the right used car with the right history, so you can buy with more confidence. Search millions of cars for sale now at Carfax.com.
Flo from Progressive here, making deliveries with Greta, who has her own flower shop. Greta's great green thumb. Yep. Greta is saving a bunch of money on her commercial auto insurance with discounts like Safe Driver, Business Experience, and Paid in Full. Right, Greta?
Righty-o.
Righty-roo.
Correct-amundo.
Yes, sirree.
Wait, who are you calling sir?
What? No one. I thought we were doing a thing. No?
Yeah, no.
Discounts to save your business money. Visit Progressive.com to learn more. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
You are listening to the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it.
You could junk it, or you can donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-724-6115. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car. And as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now. Call 1-800-724-6115. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-724-6115. That's 1-800-724-6115.
We are staring at that cherished 3 yards. The yard of bricks here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The stuff dreams are made of as preparations continue for the Freedom 100 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Dave Wilson, we thought through the first portion of this season that, quite frankly, Gabby Chavez and Zach Veach were going to make a mockery of the points championship, but we get to the Grand Prix of Indy, and everything gets turned upside down.
Well, that's true. It was the Veach Chavez show for the first part of the year. Jack Beach, he started things off. Zach started things off with a win at St. Pete, then Gabby Chavez, then Zach Veach at Barber the first race. Gabby Chavez comes back and wins the second one. So they're dominating the points, as you mentioned, and they get here to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and this place has been a hero maker and a heartbreaker for years, no matter what kind of race car you're running. And those guys go out the door in the Grand Prix of Indianapolis, 2 races for the lights cars, and Matthew Brabham takes a win, Luis Reza takes a win. So that shakes up the points to an extent because Luis Reza, by being consistent this year, is now second in the points. Veach still is your leader at 229, just 5 back as Reza. Gabby Chavez, 215. Then Jack Harvey, who we heard from earlier, he's been consistent, hasn't won a race all year, but is currently 4th. And so Matthew Brabham, who took advantage of winning the first Grand Prix race here at Indianapolis in the Light Series, he's up in the 5th spot. So the points, as you mentioned, it looked like a runaway, but it is all shook up, and it looks like another good points race as we wind down the season.
Nick Yeoman has joined us in the booth. He'll be here for flag-to-flag coverage of the Freedom 100 with us, basically setting in for Pippa, man. She's a little busy preparing for the Indy 500. She may stop by. Won't be mad at her if she doesn't. We understand. And Nick, the Grand Prix of Indy, if you're Gabby Chavez, you think, okay, if Zach Veach can do no better than 9th and 7th, then I should be able to pile up some points. Bad news for Chavez. He finishes 11th and 8th, and he can't take advantage. As a matter of fact, he loses ground.
Yeah, I think both drivers looked at that situation of either one of them having bad luck as an opportunity to maybe take a stranglehold on this championship. But what it did, as Dave Wilson talked about, is it completely opened up this championship, this show that we've seen so far from Chavez and Veach. It's now a 4 or 5 horse race. And they talked about Jack Harvey, who has just been so incredibly consistent. 6 races so far, and he hasn't finished outside the top 5. You can say the same about his teammate Luis Razia. They start up front today. Mark, this championship has been opened up, and it has been very, very interesting. Chavez just 15 points back, Harvey 22 points back. So, Mark, this 2-horse race, I think, has turned into a 4-horse race, and it's going to be very intriguing as we drop the green flag for the Freedom 100. But as we talked about, this racetrack is the great equalizer. We saw it a couple weeks ago on the road course with the doubleheader, and I would expect some fireworks today, Mark.
Rob Howden, some great news yesterday. It wasn't exactly a well-kept secret. We knew it was going to happen. It was promoted, and because of that, a really good turnout yesterday here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We got to look at what the next generation of the Dallara will look like for Indy Lights. I'm awfully excited about the unveiling after I saw the car yesterday.
You know, Mark, I had a chance to MC that unveiling, and, man, it was awesome. They pulled the cover off of that car, Dan Anderson and one of the representatives from Dallara. Beautiful race car, and for me, one of the coolest things was the fact that we had a number of the drivers from the Mazda Road to Indy be there. They were just drooling over the race car, looking over the different parts of it. Super excited about getting the chance to get into that car.
No question that the testing will take place a little bit later on in July, we believe. Is that right, Rob? It's set to get on track in either late July?
August 4th will be the first test, and then ironically, they're going to put Tristan Vautier and Connor Daly in the car at Mid-Ohio, so that'll be the first chance this car actually gets to shake things down. Now, they will be driving it a couple times over in Europe, in Italy. They're going to do some testing there before they bring it over. And I'll give you one little thing. I just heard this already. Last night, we did the unveiling. They already got 2 deposits on the car, for 2 cars yesterday. At the unveiling, 2 cars already purchased.
Yep, nice-looking race car. We're excited about the future of this series, the entire Mazda Road to Indy series. Speak to that, Nick Yeoman. We're starting to see it paid huge dividends. The grid for the 98th Indianapolis 500 made up of a lot of drivers who came through this first system, and that was at a time when it's not as organized as it is now.
Well, look at the front row. Look at the first 2 starting spots. Ed Carpenter won the inaugural Freedom 100 in 2003, and the driver that'll start to his outside, James Hinchcliffe, who won many races as well. And then you just look up and down, littered through that field, whether it be Sage Karam, Joseph Newgarden, J.R. Hildebrand, a lot of drivers that cut their teeth in the Indy Lights car, and all those drivers say that, man, that Dallara chassis that we're going to retire at the end of the year did a great job of getting these drivers ready. And I guarantee you that Tristan Vautier and Connor Daly, 2 perfect drivers to test that car. Tristan Vautier tested the Cooper tires quite a bit during the offseason, so I guarantee you those drivers are going to do a great job of getting that car ready for next year, Mark.
You talked about Cooper tires. That's the direction I was going next. Firestone for so many years, the staple in terms of tires, the sole tire supplier. Even the series title sponsor, Cooper Tires, came on board during the offseason in conjunction with the Andersons because they handled the treads for the other runs on the ladder. And Nick, I think that in large part explains why Sam Schmidt at the start of the season was not nearly as dominant as he was in past years. It simply leveled the playing field.
Yeah, the Andretti Autosport and the Bilardi Auto Racing teams had some previous experience of the lower rungs of the Mazda Road to Indy on those Cooper tires. And as you mentioned, I think it paid dividends, and the Schmidt cars and the Schmidt teams simply weren't ready. But as we've hit the month of May, those teams are starting to figure it out, especially with Razia and Harvey. So, yeah, it's opened up this championship. This Cooper Tires Championship has certainly opened up, and I think what we're going to see as we go later in the season, we're going to see some of these strong teams continue to jump to the top, and those Bilardi teams have been strong all year. We already heard from Gabby Chavez. Rob Howden, you're with one of his teammates down there.
I've got Alex Barron, the rookie driver, who has been so strong this year. A couple of podiums already. Alex Barron, you find yourself now here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Freedom 100. Give me your thoughts as a rookie coming here to this big racetrack.
It's a blast. I mean, it's such an amazing place. I'm really thrilled to be here at the Freedom 100. So many people. It's really exciting, and I'm hoping to do a good race today.
I talked to Gabby earlier, and he believes you guys have a good race car. It didn't qualify as well as he wanted to, but you have a really good car for the race. Do you feel that way with your car as well?
Yes, I mean, we've missed a couple of things during qualifying, but we've managed to figure things out during the night, and I'm sure we're going to have a good car.
What kind of strategy are they telling you? Just to kind of relax for the first 35 laps and go at it at the end, or what's the thought?
They told me to stay focused, see what the other guys are doing, see where you can pass them, and stay focused all the time.
Good luck out there.
Thank you very much.
There he is, folks, a rookie driver. 2 wins last year in the USF 2000 series. He jumped past all the way into the Indy Lights program. Alex Barron looking for a good, consistent finish here today. Let's go over to Greg.
All right, I have Zach Veach with us now. Zach, literally about to jump into the race car. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, I just think we're just concentrating on having a good start and just being patient. This is a long race. A lot of crazy things happen. We just got to make sure we stay out of those and get the Replay XD car up to the front row.
How does the mindset change, or does it change, going from the road course race here 2 weekends ago to 40 laps around the oval here?
Yeah, it's just a whole mental set that, things happening a lot quicker here. You just got to be more patient with it and just more on top of the car mentally. So I think we always like the transition over to ovals more than anything. So I'm excited to have a great show here.
Zach, best of luck.
Thank you so much.
And back down the grid we go to Rob Howden.
Scott Anderson, you've worked your way up the Mazda Road to Indy, USF 2000. You were a winner, Pro Mazda. You got a lot of experience there into the Indy Lights program this year. How excited are you to get ready to go green here in the Freedom 100?
I'm extremely excited. A couple of years ago, I wouldn't have thought I'd be here, especially this quick, but it's going well. Season's been going pretty well, and I think we didn't do great in qualifying, but when we were running in traffic, we're actually doing really well. So hopefully we can just move up throughout the race. And
I know there were thoughts to run again another year in Pro Mazda. This program came up for you. Really, the focus this year is about experience and about getting ready for 2015, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, that was my thought kind of going into this. That was our thought going into this. But, you still want to, try to fight for wins and podiums and all that. But, without losing focus on, learning and just getting everything down as well as you can.
Have a great day today.
All right, thanks.
Let's go back to Nick Yeoman.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go down trackside as we prepare to honor America with the singing of our national anthem to be performed today by Carrie Lee.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you now please rise, remove your caps, and join Nashville recording artist Carrie Lee for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Nashville recording artist Carrie Lee. Attention on the grid. Attention on the grid. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
That's our good friend and co-worker Dave First from WRTV Channel 6, who will be joining us on pit road on race day. We're waiting next for the most famous word in motorsports, the command to start engines. 12 years ago, our pole sitter today made a splash here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the first ever Freedom 100 in what was then known as the Infinity Pro Series. Yesterday, as part of Media Day, we caught up with Ed Carpenter to get his thoughts and impressions and his memories on that day here at Indianapolis.
I mean, it was a huge win for me. That was the first year for that race, so it was extra special. But, I don't know that I would have ever been able to become an IndyCar driver if I hadn't won that race. That gave me an opportunity to get into an IndyCar for 3 races later that year, which got me a full-time ride in 2004. So is a huge deal for me.
What do you think about some of these drivers over the past 3 or 4 years that have used Indy Lights as a springboard to get to IndyCar?
I mean, you just look at how quick they've been and how well prepared they are out of that series. It's hard not to see that the road to Indy is doing a great job.
Dave Wilson, we were all here on that day, and what a dominant day it was for Ed Carpenter. And we were just all happy that we had the opportunity to call another race here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and you know who his car owner was?
Right, A.J. Foyt.
Anthony Joseph Foyt. That's exactly right. So, boy, and you're right, dominance, that barely describes it. He was smoking them. He had darn near a straightaway lead over second place. And so it was great to see Eddie do so well. And then, of course, he has used that to propel himself, as a lot of drivers have, male and female, into the Verizon IndyCar Series. And, of course, Pippa Mann's the first woman to ever sit on a pole at the Speedway, and she'll be in this year's 500 too. So it was a historic event back in 2003.
This Mazda Road to Indy Series is becoming particularly enjoyable for us, Nick Yeoman, because how exciting it is for us to see James Hinchcliffe win, 3 races his first year out, to see Charlie Kimball get to victory lane and pull off the moves that he pulled off in Toronto and Mid-Ohio, and Joseph Newgarden having the success that he's having for Sarah Fisher Hartman, because we can say we knew them win.
It is fun to say and to watch these drivers mature. That's the most. I mean, it's a learning process for so many of these race car drivers. They get to compete on a lot of the same race courses as the IndyCar Series, all the way down the ladder, as you mentioned, USF 2000, with Anderson Promotions taking over the emphasis on getting a lot of these drivers up the ladder system and ultimately competing on the biggest stage in the world in the Indianapolis 500 is the key. So it's fun, and I think we're going to see a lot of these drivers. I've talked with a lot of people, a lot of media members, a lot of people in the paddock that think there's 5, 6, 7 drivers in this 11-car field that very well could be running in the Indy 500. So you get to say you knew them now, and when they're competing in the Indy 500 in a couple years, Mark, that's the best way to make fans. The interaction is great. Autograph sessions to just about every race we get to go to. So fans get an opportunity to meet these young drivers, and certainly they're going to be competing in the Indy 500 in just a short few years.
Dan Anderson took over the Indy Lights ownership and management last year. And Rob Howden, it was an announcement that I don't think anybody complained about. And I think it came to fruition yesterday with the unveiling of that new race car.
Dan Anderson did his best with USF 2000 and Pro Mazda, has really cemented things, but this Indy Lights program really brings it all to fruition. Dan, the brand new car yesterday, the Dallara IL-15, maybe we'll talk more later in the broadcast, but you must feel great being down here on pit lane right now with a great field of cars and excitement for 2015.
Yeah, it's a terrific day. The weather's terrific for Indiana. It can be sketchy out here at times, so very happy to see the weather turned out. We should have a really good race. These guys always put on a great race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This Freedom 100 has been a really good dogfight every year.
Excited about yesterday unveiling that new race car?
Yeah, we've got a tremendous amount of positive feedback. I mean, the web went wild with it. We've taken car orders today. The cars will be delivered in the order that we sell them, so hopefully everyone gets in line and starts buying these cars, and we have much bigger fields next year.
You know what, just so much excitement for 2015. Thank you very much for what you've done for the ladder.
Thank you, Rob.
There he is, folks. Danny Anderson, really the architect right now of this Mazda Road to Indy.
And Rob, stay with us for just a minute. For those that are interested in seeing the lower rungs on the ladder, if you will, not too far away from here, there's plenty of activity in the Mazda Road to Indy Series at Lucas Oil Raceway Park.
Yeah, we're excited about it tomorrow night, folks. The USF 2000 Series, the Pro Mazda Series, both running on that 5/8 of a mile banked oval at Lucas Oil Raceway. I think we're kicking things off about 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. We've got single car qualifying. It's just going to be a really fun night for these young drivers on the Mazda Road to Indy to kind of emulate what they're going to see here at the Speedway today and on Sunday.
And Nick, we've had an opportunity to meet a lot of those drivers. They have been running with the Verizon IndyCar Series throughout the course of the season. Boy, they put on a whale of a show.
And there are some very talented drivers coming up the ranks. R.C. Enerson right now in USF 2000 has reached victory lane a handful of times. Spencer Pigot's been dominating Pro Mazda. So, there's a lot of talent. These drivers get started so early, starting in go-karts, and then they move up into these formula-style cars. And, the talent in these younger series is just incredible. And a lot of those drivers are going to be competing today as well.
Well, people have wondered about it for quite a while, Nick. What is the direct path to the Verizon IndyCar Series? At no time has that ever been more defined than it is right now.
4 steps. The bottom is USF 2000. Then you move up to Pro Mazda, and these cars get a little bit heavier, a little bit more horsepower. The engine's capable of a little bit more. Then you move up into the Indy Light Series presented by Cooper Tires. You're just one rung away. And then ultimately the big step is competing in the Verizon IndyCar Series. It's a great system set up to get these drivers a bit of stability and a format to move them up the ladder system and ultimately get a great opportunity to compete in the Indy 500.
For many, this is the culmination of a lifelong dream, or at least they're getting closer to it. They ultimately want to be running on Sunday in an Indianapolis 500. They're so close now, they can feel it, they can smell it, and they can certainly taste it. For a driver, this is the best time, if you will. They're in the cockpit waiting for the command to start engines, and we are standing by for that now.
It's that time. Please welcome Barry Garwood, Indianapolis manager for Allied Building Products, to issue today's command.
Drivers, start your engines.
It's all in the hands of the drivers now. The Freedom 100 when we come back.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard, Brickyard 400. Gasoline Alley, the greatest spectacle in racing. Racing capital of the world. Indy, Indy 500, Indianapolis 500, IndyCar, Indy Lights, and Indy Racing League are trademarks owned and or licensed by Brickyard Trademarks. Firestone is a trademark owned and or licensed by Bridgestone Firestone North American Tire. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the information, descriptions, and content of this broadcast without the prior written consent of the IMS radio network is strictly prohibited. This broadcast is a copyrighted presentation of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network.
You already say, show me the Carfax before buying a used car. Now you can shop for the right used car at Carfax.com too. You'll find millions of cars for sale from thousands of Carfax Advantage dealers, all with free Carfax reports. Want to buy a well-maintained one-owner vehicle? Carfax makes it easy. Search the history you want and find the cars that meet your needs. Now you can shop with more confidence and find Carfax Advantage dealers close to you. Say, show me the Carfax at the new Carfax.com today.
You are listening to the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio.
Do you have unfiled tax returns or owe the IRS or state more than $10,000? If you don't take action now, your tax problem is going to get worse, much worse. Seizure of property, bank levies, wage garnishments, and potential criminal prosecution. And if you owe the IRS back payroll taxes, chances are you will be visited at your home or business by an IRS agent. Don't become paralyzed by fear. Take action now. Call the experts at U.S. Tax Shield for help. Our team of experienced tax attorneys can get you protected, stop collections, and negotiate a permanent settlement with the IRS and state, potentially saving you thousands of dollars. At U.S. Tax Shield, our tax advisors will review your case for free, inform you of your rights, and give you a guaranteed quote. No games and no tricky upsells. That's why we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied clients. Put an end to your torment. Get protected. Get the Shield. Call U.S. Tax Shield now at 800-203-5541. That's 800-203-5541. 800-203-5541.
Cars are on the back straightaway, trying to build up that precious heat in the tires as they make their way toward turn number 3. Let's get the starting lineup for today's race from Nick Yeoman.
11 talented drivers set to take the green here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Freedom 100. Starting 11th by himself in row number 6, the talented young Canadian Zach Meyer for Team Moore Racing. In row 5 on the outside, Scott Anderson, the American from Colorado. And to his inside for Bilardi Auto Racing, the Frenchman Alex Barron. In row 4 on the outside, rookie Juan Piedrahita looking to bounce back from a disappointing weekend at the Grand Prix of Indianapolis. And Chase Austin making his first start of the season here in the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires. In row 3, Juan Pablo Garcia, one of the veterans from Mexico City, Mexico. He's a veteran, but he's just 26 years old. To his inside, Gabby Chavez, who's reached victory lane twice already this season. In row 2 on the outside, Zach Beach, who's also won 2 races this year and is our points leader as we enter into Indianapolis. To his inside, his teammate, Matthew Brabham, racing with a heavy heart after loss of his grandfather earlier this week. And our front row, the Schmidt-Peterson teammates of Jack Harvey and Luis Razia, the 11 cars that make up the field for the 2014 Freedom 100 for the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires.
We need some help to cover this massive facility today, and we've enlisted a couple of good ones. Let's say hello to Michael Young, high atop turn 2.
Indeed, a beautiful afternoon here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Mark Janes, the field, just making their way through turn number 2. I have a beautiful vantage point, and what a fantastic day, although the wind has certainly picked up from the north, kind of blowing northeast. It's going to be very, very tricky for these drivers to get into turn number 3 and turn number 1. Let's send things down to turn number 3 for the call down there, the legendary voice, Jerry Baker.
Thanks much. Yeah, I'm just going to mention the wind. It is indeed shaking the stand in which we are
standing to watch this race. The first 5 rows, Mark, in perfect condition. Razia inside, Harvey outside. Second row, Brabham and Veach. Keep an eye on Brabham, Mark. His history says he wants to go to the front in a hurry. Here they come, short shoot, north end of the track. They'll set up for the final left-hand turn. Mark, they'll be coming into sight as we get set to run the Freedom 100 for 2014.
Big bit of difference between the pace car and the field. The pace car pulls off the racetrack. The 11 drivers jump to speed, and we are green for the Freedom 100. Further back in the field, they fan out, but we get the yellow flag. Mark Janes. Apparently, the starter didn't like that as much. It looked pretty orderly, but we did see some jumping out of line towards the rear of the field.
Oh, Dave Wilson, the exuberance of youth. What's wrong with those kids anyway? I mean, I'm sure they went over that in the driver's meeting, but the old adage is they leave their sense behind when they strap that helmet on.
Race car drivers are race car drivers. I don't care. There's been more than one of them has told me, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And so a lot of these young kids, they know they're awfully evenly matched. And so if they want to get every little advantage as soon as they can.
And we're familiar with the goings-on in race control, and I would imagine that right now there's a bit of chatting going on between race control and the drivers, especially in the rear of the field.
Yeah, we saw Alex Barron jump out of line. I saw Juan Pedro Hita jump to the outside. I don't know if that might have been just a situation, Mark, where it looked like the front row of Razia and Harvey brought them down so slow that those drivers in the back were ready to accelerate, but thankfully everybody made it cleanly down the front straightaway. But yeah, race control would like a little bit more of an orderly lineup as we line them back up 2 by 2.
There is a mass of humanity here today. This infield is jam-packed. Off to our right as we look toward the turn 3 portion of the infield, we see all the tents from the glamping that has become oh so popular here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Nick Yeoman, we'll put him back in your hands as they come off of turn number 4 for their mulligan.
Side by side, green flag in the air. It is a clean start, and the field of 11 will make their way down the front straightaway. Razia has the advantage, and they're side by side for second. Make it 3 wide. Brabham on the inside, and all the way up top, it is Zach Veach. But Michael Young, Luis Razia leads them through turn number 1.
Nice looking start for Luis Razia. It's Razia, then Harvey, then Brabham, then Veach. They make their way through turn number 2. Single file till you get back to Garcia. They're 2 wide, making their way to turn number 3. Here's Jerry Baker.
They are just as they qualified. Razia is the guy driving the white and red Lucas-sponsored machine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-car breakaway at the moment in the number 2 spot, Jack Harvey. Then Brabham, then Beach, north end of the speedway, left-hand turn, heading down the 5/8 mile front straightaway.
Kind of developing into 2 segments early on. Those front 5 make their way down the main straightaway, and then the 6 running behind them are about 100 yards behind. We see Beach being set up as they prepare for turn number 1, but still no change. Razia at the top, followed by Harvey, Brabham to Beach.
2-car length gap with Razia into Jack Harvey. Jack Harvey, nice line out of turn number 2, Matt Brabham. And you see Zach Veach trying to look on the inside of Matt Brabham, trying to make the move for 3rd place down to turn 3.
And he is going to move to the inside. Now there's a big battle for that number 4 spot. The leader is still Razia, and now keep an eye on the number 0 car. Chase Austin going to get into the mix right now. North end, left turn, straight away, coming at you, Mark.
Yeah, side by side as they make their way out of turn number 4. It is the Andretti Autosport teammates. Veach is going to have to give way, but that's going to open up the bottom behind him. Veach and Chavez will go side by side across the yard of bricks. This is a battle for 4th. They'll go side by side into turn number 1.
And that battle for 4th place continues to ensue. Gabby Chavez on the inside of the number 26 machine of Jack Veach. Will not be able to make the pass. They're back to single file. So make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gabby Chavez to P5.
Nobody qualified over 190 miles an hour, so these cars are almost identical. Now the battle for 2nd place. Razia will hang on to the number 1 spot. Now there is Brabham. Matthew Brabham takes over the number 2 position and now putting pressure on your leader.
I'm thinking we might not have to wait till the finish to go 4 wide across the start-finish line. Those front 4 are beating and banging all over one another. Brabham wants the lead, Michael Young. He's going to go to the bottom side of Razia. The battle for the lead into turn number 1.
And for Matthew Brabham, a fantastic move into turn number 1. All the way down to the white line. Move Matthew Brabham to P1. Then it's Razia, Harvey, Beach, Gabby Chavez, as now we see the Harvey machine trying to make a look on the inside, and now it's the machine of Zach Veach trying to move to P3.
No surprise that Brabham's up there. He won the first road course race here a week or so ago. Now the first 4 cars literally under each other's rear wing. Brabham is the guy out front. All kinds of pressure from Jack Harvey. Left-hand turn into turn number 4, down the main straightaway.
36 laps to go. What a power move a lap ago by Matthew Brabham in one lap, going from 3rd to 1st, but Luis Razia will not go away. About a car length behind Brabham as they head towards turn number 1. Michael Young, that group of 5 is quickly becoming a group of 6 or 7 as they head to you.
Zach Veach very aggressive, looking on the outside, now the inside of Jack Harvey for that 3rd place position. Veach starting to settle in. It is indeed Matthew Brabham, 2-car length advantage over P number 2, Jack Harvey. Nice battle as they make their way down into turn number 3. Very, very tight.
And now the battle is for that number 3 spot. Brabham is still out front, and now the battle will have Zach Veach battling for the number 3 spot on the inside. He'll try to take it into the number 4 corner.
4th turn, we see them coming into our view. They're still side by side. Veach has the advantage, and he'll slide the rear wing up in front of Jack Harvey. Harvey's not done. Chavez wants to tuck right in behind the number 26 machine. Entertaining thoughts of going 3 wide into 1. They wisely back out. Gabby Chavez to the high side of Jack Harvey. Now he backs up. Now he's right back there. Michael Young, he almost touched the wall.
Side by side, Jack Harvey and Gabby Chavez. They make their way through turn number 2. That battle just side by. It's amazing. Now Jack Harvey tucking back into line. Gabby Chavez makes his way up to P number 4. Nice move for Gabby Chavez.
They come 3 wide into turn number 3. Gently, they separate themselves. Razia still hangs on to the lead. Matthew Brabham runs 1, number 2. That first 7 or 8 cars running nose to tail down south.
Boy, Razia made the move at the last second getting into turn 3, and it paid off. He takes the lead, but he may not hold it. Here comes Matthew Brabham back to the inside. They go across the yard of bricks. Razia will lead the lap, but Michael Young, Brabham will take the lead.
Power move for Matthew Brabham. Makes his way through turn number 1. So it's Brabham. Then it's the 7-car Razia. Now Zach Veach has a little hankering to maybe make that 2nd place position run. A look on the outside, now diving back in. Gabby Chavez makes a move to the inside.
Oh my, this is something special. They are 3 wide. Out front is Luis Razia. Now they're running side by side for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th again. Razia hanging on. They're 2 wide coming through that number 4 corner.
Razia went from 1st to about 5th in about a turn and a half. Brabham is back in front as they work their way down the straightaway. Veach right there with him. Then Gabby Chavez, then Harvey, then Razia, and Michael Young. All this slicing and dicing among the top 5 has allowed the rear of the field to start to catch up. Talking about Ben Rahita Garcia and company.
Indeed, the field making their way through 2. Matt Brabham, comfortable 2-length advantage over Zach Veach. Then it's Gabby Chavez. Those 3 cars almost nose to tail, making their way down to turn 3, but indeed that field compressing. Very tight battles all the way through the course.
Early on, it was a 5-car breakaway. Now there are 9 cars literally within a fraction of a second of each other. Matthew Brabham, we knew he'd go to the front as fast as he could, but is there a battle for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 spots, Mark James?
Brabham, Veach, Chavez, Harvey, Razia, don't you dare go away. It could be another memorable Freedom 100 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
There are few greater traditions in sports than when the 500-mile race winner pulls into victory lane and is greeted with an ice-cold bottle of milk. And consider this, the 500's bottle of milk tradition has been recognized nationally as the sports world's coolest prize. Now and always, milk's the driver's favorite taste at the end of the race.
Get the calcium, vitamins, and protein you need to compete with a refreshing glass of milk. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association, your Indiana dairy farm families.
Remember, winners drink milk.
This is Lauren Bolander-Kanan, and my husband Tony won the 2013 Indianapolis 500, and he knows fast. So when the youngest Kanan, Leo, or any of us get sick, we use the Exergen Smart Glow Temporal Scanner. The Exergen Smart Glow is so easy, simple to use, and it's fast. The Exergen Smart Glow Temporal Scanner is the #1 choice of nurses, pediatricians, and families nationwide. In IndyCar, every second counts, and the same is true when someone in your family is sick. So always use the Exergen Smart Glow Thermometer for the accurate read that is fast.
You are listening to the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio.
Hey race fans, I'm IndyCar driver Joseph Newgarden. Sure, driving 200 miles per hour within inches of another car could be frightening, but that fear pales in comparison to what people experience when they are diagnosed with melanoma. A melanoma diagnosis isn't just frightening, it changes everything. But there is hope. Outrun the Sun offers education, outreach, and support for melanoma research. Do your part. Join me in supporting Outrun the Sun. Learn more at outrunthesun.org.
At the track, hearing every word is critical.
A good stop, he's down and away. Will Power now making...
If you want to hear what the pros hear, use what the pros use. The IMS radio network depends on racing electronics.
No changes on that car. Justin will rejoin in the 10th position.
For handheld scanners, headsets, and more, visit a Racing Electronics trailer in the trackside souvenir area or shop online at racingelectronics.com. Racing Electronics, an official partner of the Verizon IndyCar Series.
Back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, well, they're not jockeying for position. The front three is kind of set up nose to tail, talking about Brabham and Veach and Gabby Chavez. And let's get the mindset of that Andretti Autosport group and say, watch their cars go nose to tail, Rob Howden.
You know, Mark, you're not seeing any jockeying down here right now because that was the call that came from pit lane. The race engineers telling both Matthew and Zach, work together, work together. We're P1, we're P2. Work together. Definitely a message that these drivers are now taking to heart as they run 1, 2, and in fact, Veach running a little closer to the inside of the racetrack coming down into turn number 1, almost a blocking line to ensure that Andretti holds these spots here early in this race.
Well, Veach has decided that he wants to be the guy running 1. He slips around Brabham in the north end to grab the spot. The Speedway historian Donald Davidson joins us. And Donald, sad news earlier this week of the passing of Sir Jack Brabham, his grandson. We're watching him perform greatly here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Do you think enough is said or enough credit is given for the impact that Jack Brabham has had here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Well, it was Jack Brabham and the Cooper Car Company, and they sort of went hand in hand. It was actually a team effort. Jack Brabham was the hired hand, but I'm also told that he called the shots on the team. But what they did was reintroduce the idea of a rear-engine car. Now, rear-engine cars were not new at the Indianapolis Speedway. They'd run between 1937 and 1951, but only 4 had ever qualified, and none went beyond 47 laps. The Cooper Car Company in England, they started running Formula One cars with rear engines, and that was not a new idea in Europe either, but they had great success. Jack Brabham won the World Championship in 59 and 60, and when they were down at Sebring for the U.S. Grand Prix, the first United States Grand Prix in 1959, Roger Wood struck up a friendship with...
Huge crash down into turn number 1, guys. Someone lost the rear end of the car. Chase Austin. Horrible crash as the back end stepped out. He made his way through the turn and then made contact with the inside retaining wall. He is moving around in the cockpit, was basically in cruise control, and as the field made their way by, the back end stepped out. Hard contact, but Chase Austin moving around in the cockpit of that machine.
They're talking to Chase Austin as we speak, Nick Yeoman, and boy, I'll tell you what, that car is literally in pieces, 2 separate pieces as we look at it on the video board.
You know, the last couple laps, I had seen Chase Austin. That car looked very ill handling, taking very wide lines out of turns 2 and turn 4. But when we get a good look, we'll describe the action. But there is, Mark, that car is just absolutely destroyed. There are parts of the rear wing down on the grass on the inside, and as you mentioned, there are 2 distinct pieces left of that race car. That was just a hellacious hit for Chase Austin, and as you mentioned, good to see that he was moving around. There is a large team of safety workers there from the Homatro safety team, but man, what a massive hit there in turn 1 and 2 for Chase Austin.
Right in front of you, Michael Young.
Yeah, indeed. That's the entrance to turn 11 of the road course, and when he came out of turn number 1, just buried it inside of that safer barrier, and you just see a debris field that comes from the point of impact all the way to the car came arrest, but the parts of the front part of the cockpit, the rear wing, then the back end of the car, good to see him moving around, but certainly a hard impact for Chase Austin as we have our first caution of the afternoon.
Donald, do want to give you the opportunity. We're keeping an eye on the efforts to extricate him from the car, and we'll give you an update on him when we have the opportunity to. But let's Donald, let you finish your point on Sir Jack Brabham.
Oh, it was just that they bought the rear engine car here at the suggestion of Roger Ward, and then they tested in October of 60, returned in 61 with the rear engine car and finished 9th. It was a beefed up version of the Cooper, and they didn't win, but they got a lot of attention, and within a very short time all of the cars were rear engine, so Jack Brabham gets a huge amount of credit. Apparently every one of the cars in today's race is carrying some kind of a decal.
Yes.
And my guess is, although Matthew Brabham's in the race, my guess is that James Davison's father is the one that motivated that. In fact, I heard him talking that they were thinking about getting a blow-up of the Jack Brabham qualifying shot from 1961 and placing it on the nose section of James' car for the 500-mile race.
Well, they do have Chase Austin out of the car now. The Hamatro safety crew continues to tend to Chase Austin, and we'll update you on him at the earliest possible opportunity. Brabham, Veach, Chavez, Harvey, Razia, your top 5. Garcia, Pedrahita, Barron, Anderson, Meyer, and Austin. Rob Howden.
Had a chance to come down here to the Belardi Auto Racing pit, and they said that they were talking to Chase early in the race. He was complaining that the car was very loose, but then got off the radio for the remainder of that first 16-lap run. So no indication that the car was real loose at that point. So we'll have to have a look at the replay and, of course, get input from Chase as soon as he gets back here to pit lane.
The Freedom 100. Again, Brabham, Veach, Chavez, Harvey, Razia, your top 5 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What's it like to drive an Indy car at the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Now the Indy Racing experience can put you in the driver's seat. That's right. You can drive an Indy car at the world's greatest race course. Packages start at under $500. But hurry, sessions are selling out fast. Call 888-357-5002 or go online to IndyRacingExperience.com. You driving a real Indy car. Call 888-357-5002 now.
All right, here we go, Brad. One more out, and the game is yours. Pitch the ball already! She's out! That is the game! Woo!
Nothing says Memorial Day like a ball game and a barbecue. Come into Lowe's for Kingsford Charcoal 20-pound 2-packs, now only $9.99. And Master Forge 4-burner gas grill, now only $149, down from $199. Lowe's, never stop improving. Offers valid through 5/26 while supplies last. See store for details.
You are listening to the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio.
The word is out. One of the most recent weight loss products that has the whole world talking is now available in the U.S. If you want the newest, faster fat buster to aid in weight loss, the name is Garcinia Cambogia. On the Dr. Oz TV show, Garcinia Cambogia was described as the holy grail of weight loss. But why is everyone buzzing about Garcinia Cambogia? You see, Garcinia Cambogia is a dual-action ingredient. It can help you lose weight naturally by helping inhibit fat production, meaning that what you eat is turned into energy that you use rather than store. It can also help suppress your appetite by increasing serotonin levels in your body. To get a risk-free bottle of genuine Garcinia Cambogia from Genuine Supplements, call 1-888-695-2429. Call right now and also get a free copy of the Dr. Oz book, You Losing Weight. Call right now, 1-888-695-2429. Again, that's 1-888-695-2429.
Caution continues in the Freedom 100 for the one-car incident involving Chase Austin. He slammed it into the tire barrier almost at full throttle, nose first. Again, they were able to extricate him from the car. Greg Rakestraw is making his way to the infield care center. We hope to have an update on Chase Austin shortly. Again, your top 5, Brabham, Veach, Chavez, Harvey, Razia. Verizon earlier this season signed a deal to become a title sponsor of the IndyCar Series. that, of course, increases awareness and exposure in racing. Well, today we have Debbie Lewis with us, Director of Communications for Verizon, in the booth. Debbie, what do you think of this view? Not bad, huh?
It's pretty great. You guys have great weather and great things to look at here.
Well, Debbie, I have to tell you, shortly after the announcement, I was an 11, 12-year AT&T customer. I kind of threw that thing in the trash and went to my nearest Verizon store, and one of the first apps I downloaded was the Verizon IndyCar 14 mobile app. What a great relationship, and we've just begun to scratch the surface, I assume.
Absolutely. No, that's great to hear. We're glad to have you as a customer and all our customers out there. We think that the relationship between IndyCar and Verizon really highlights a lot of the technology, a lot of the things that the drivers do in their cars, a lot of things that the fans can experience at the tracks. There's so many possibilities, and we're just couldn't be more pleased with the way things are going so far and looking forward to the future.
Well, I think sponsorship activation was already huge over the past couple of years at all of the events. We see it walking through the paddock, but we also see it out where the fans are. And I think the response by the fans has just been tremendous, don't you?
Absolutely. You know, everything that we've heard, I've seen. This is actually my very first IndyCar race. So walking around today and the excitement, and it's really a celebration. And, you know, there's some things that you can't see that we've done for the fans, like improving our network coverage here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway so people can stay in touch with each other, make their phone calls, post to social media, use the IndyCar app and all of that. So lots of things that you can see and lots of things that you can't see, but we think are great for the fans.
Those things that we can't see that are in the developmental stages right now, are we going to say, oh my, over the next probably 18 months to 2 years when we see what Verizon can do for the technology with the IndyCar series?
I hope so. I hope so. You know, Verizon's really a technology leader. IndyCar is a technology-driven sport, and we think the number of innovations that are out there for the teams, for the drivers, for the fans, when you think about video, and I'm seeing lots of different angles and what you can do with cars and, you know, what you can deliver to the fans and the sponsors and everybody over a phone. No one leaves home without their phone in their pocket, right?
Yeah.
And we like it that way, and it's such a big part of our lives, and we want to be where fans want to be and what they're passionate about, and give it to them in a way that they can enjoy it all the time, everywhere.
Well, we think that this is just a win-win situation, and we certainly hope that Verizon is as happy about this partnership as the folks in the IndyCar series.
We're thrilled, and as you said, it's just been a little while since we signed on as a title sponsor, and it's just the beginning.
You have set the bar pretty high. You know that, don't you? You've come here for your first IndyCar race. I mean, how can you possibly top it?
You know, you guys have to show it to me. I understand how many more races, 10 or 12 more races this year. Can't wait to see how it's going to go.
Very well put. Hey, thanks for joining us.
My
Enjoy
pleasure.
Your day.
Enjoy.
Yep, we certainly appreciate her joining us today. That's Debbie Lewis, Director of Communications for Verizon, here on the ninth floor in our booth. Let's go downstairs. Rob Howden, you've caught up with a guy who made history here 1 year ago.
Yeah, I've got Peter Dempsey with me right now. Obviously the big winner last year, the Freedom 100. Peter, what I want to ask you about is how quickly can a car get away from you here? You know, on a road course, you're able to kind of handle it. You roll on the corner speed. Here, obviously flat out. So how quickly does the car just snap and take off?
It's extremely tricky, you know, even though we're not going as quick as the big cars around here. But when you're in traffic and, you know, Chase is there at the back of a group, you know, or a 6 or 7 car line, you just get caught in the wrong position. It's gone before you can really catch it. And obviously, you know, it's the first time these guys are doing a real race situation in an oval here on the Cooper tires too. So maybe those little changes just call him out. But fortunately, he's okay.
The way things are looking in this race as it's developed early on here, we may have another finish like the one you were involved in last year. How's it looking from your side?
Yeah, it's looking very exciting. You know, it's going to be interesting to see where they come down the last, 5-10 laps, how it all plays out. But I think a 5-wide finish here would be definitely a bit spectacular. But everyone's looking solid and they're keeping out of trouble and they're racing smart.
Thanks a lot, Peter.
Thank you.
There he is, folks. Peter Dempsey, winner last year of the Freedom 100.
Dave Wilson, no question. These stars of tomorrow trying to become stars today. We have literally held our collective breaths over the first 10 to 15 laps of this race.
They have been putting on a heck of a show. And this track is perfect to showcase the driver's skills and the abilities of this car. And I can't wait to see the new car get out here and see what it can do, because it really looks racy. But we're also not only developing drivers, we're developing teams and mechanics to compete in the Verizon IndyCar Series races. I've talked about this before, but Michael Myers, who is the great-grandson of the very first 3-time champion here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, has worked for Sam Schmidt for several years. Sam, of course, is starting off as a lights team and has been very, very successful, but Michael started with him, has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and, of course, now they campaign Simon Pagenaud full-time. He has stepped up. Young Michael Myers has stepped up now. He's running full-time with the Verizon wireless guys, running around here with trying to keep Simon Pagenaud in victory lane. So you see not only drivers stepping up and getting bigger and getting to compete at the top level of the sport, but also mechanics and team owners too.
Many of the team members up and down pit lane right now for the Indy Lights Series will get an opportunity to crew some of these cars in the IndyCar Series. Tim Neff, Chris Finch, both members of Schmidt-Peterson's operation, they'll be working on the car for Jacques Villeneuve on Sunday. So, yeah, a lot of these guys up and down pit lane getting an opportunity to work on Indy cars on Sunday.
Under caution for the one-car accident involving Chase Austin on lap number 15. Austin is at the infield care center. Our Greg Rakestraw is there. We're awaiting an update on his condition. We'll have it for you. Matthew Brabham, Zach Veach, Gabby Chavez, Jack Harvey, Luis Razia. Your top 5 with 20 laps complete. We pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is IndyCar Radio on the IMS Radio Network. Welcome back to the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Mark James, Nick Yeoman, Dave Wilson in the booth. We've also heard from Speedway historian Donald Davidson. We have Greg Rakestraw and Rob Howden on pit road today. Jerry Baker and Michael Young calling the action in the turns, and we're going to try to go green this time by. And again, Nick, you just can't say enough about that Hamatro safety crew. It's a rarity that they're not to the car even before it stops. And well, I'll tell you what, all of these drivers, to a man and woman, will tell you they are simply the best in the business, and we saw that on display here today.
Well, and that's the great thing about that Hamatro safety crew. They travel with the series, so the drivers know these guys, and when you have a crisis situation like a horrific accident that Chase Austin just had, it's nice to have familiar faces. Now, Chase is new to the Indy Lights Series this season, but certainly he understood just how good that Hamatro safety crew is as well. So hoping to get an update on Chase Austin, but that was just a horrible accident, and sounds like that we're actually going to get one to go at the line this time, Mark.
Michael Young, we see the safety trucks returning to their respective positions. Everything cleaned up down there in the South Chute?
Looks like it. A little bit of where he got into the tire barrier there, and other than that, just a lot of oil dry on the track. So as you see the cars make their way through the short chute that first and second time by, you might see little puffs of white smoke as that oil dry works its way off the circuit. But again, hats off to the Hamatro safety crew. They do such a fantastic job. And as Nick Yeoman said, to have that familiar face when you have a bad crash like that, just to know that you're going to see people that you know and they know you, it really means a lot.
Jerry Baker, not much chance of dozing off out there in turn 3 once the green flag flies. This has been awfully entertaining, white-knuckle action over the first 20 laps or so of this thing.
Well, we've come to expect that, Mark, especially after last year. One note here, and we made reference to it earlier, the wind has gotten even stronger coming out of the northeast and blowing pretty hard up here. So when you get here on race day, this thing will still be shaking, I think. So far, it hasn't impacted much on the racing surface, but you're right. This racing has taken on a whole new dimension. These kids are very competitive, and if you remember, Mark, go back a couple of years, they couldn't even get to through turns 1 and 2. They've done a much better job. I'm sorry for the accident. Field coming in front of me right now, so let's get ready to go green.
And Dave, a quick observation. We've come a far cry from a competitive nature because that first one won by Ed Carpenter was a laugher.
Just about a straightaway lead. I mean, he just ran out there and smoked them. So yeah, there's none of that this week here at with the lights.
10 cars will make their way through turn 4. It's the Andretti Autosport teammates of Brabham and Veach running first and second. Gabby Chavez runs third. And then a pair of, 4 Schmidt-Peterson cars. Harvey, Razia, Juan Pablo Garcia, and Pedro Hita make up 4 through 7. Green flag in the air. Back to racing here with 28 to go. Brabham with about a car-length lead, but the battle is for second. Chavez jumps to the outside of Zach Veach. They'll go side by side for second in turn number 1.
And for Gabby Chavez, a very nice move. Tries to pinch Zach Veach down. Able to make the pass, so move Gabby Chavez to P2. It's Brabham, Chavez, Veach, then the machine of Jack Harvey, Luis Razia. They are your top 5 as they head to 3.
Chavez already has a couple of wins this year. Now they're side by side for the lead. Brabham on the inside, Chavez on the outside. Now they go 3 wide. Now they tuck it back inside, and the number 5 car, Gabby Chavez, out in front at the north end of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with 9 other cars hot on his bumper.
Unless it's within the shadows of the start-finish line, I'm not sure out front is the place to be. Typically, drivers like that. That's not been the advantageous point here today. Chavez leads Zach Veach. The guys at the top of the battle for the points championship and close to the top make their way through the South Short Chute.
Ryan Bellardi expected big things from this young man, and indeed, Gabby Chavez is proving to be the driver they had hoped him to be. Very close to winning the championship last year, and a very great drive thus far here at the Freedom 100.
So on the very first lap, Chavez runs past Brabham and Beach and takes over the number 1 spot. He's up there right now, but boy, does he have company. Harvey is in that area. Beach is in that area. Razia, he's kind of laying in the woods also, but right now it's a battle for the number 1 spot.
A nice little rivalry developing between those drivers that run first and second. They got to beat and bang a little bit on the road course here 2 weeks ago. They won't do that today. It's Chavez across the yard of bricks in front with Zach Beach right in tow and his teammate Matthew Brabham in third.
Well, for Gabby Chavez, it's kind of a settle-in mode. He makes his way now into turn number 2, but Zach Beach starting to get a little antsy, taking a look to the outside. Zach Beach now right on the rear wing of Gabby Chavez. Beach might make a move as he makes his way to 3.
Chavez has come a long way to race it into East Bogota, Colombia. 1 car almost on the infield grass that time around. Still that battle up front. Jack Beach in the 26. Gabby Chavez in the number 5. They're running literally under the rear wing of each other.
You got a sneaking suspicion that Beach could pass him if he wanted to. Maybe he just doesn't want to right now unless he's forced to. Nick, I don't think you can get that nose wing up any tighter underneath the rear wing that he has it now.
Yeah, all the way down the front straightaway, right up underneath the back of that race car. Has to back out just a bit as they enter to the corner. But yeah, they run 1-2 very tight, and Matthew Brabham is right there in third, lurking as well. And Jerry Baker, as they head down the front or the back straightaway, Veach tucked right up behind Chavez once again.
I think you're right on. I think he's just kind of laying back there saying, "Can you see me in your mirrors?" And I'm watching Brabham because he's a guy sitting in the back about 2 car lengths back who's simply saying, "Okay, boys, show me what you got. Take each other out if you would. I'm going to be right there." Brabham runs third. Here come your leaders down the main straightaway.
Donald Davidson, Carb Day a few years ago moved to Friday, and with the Freedom 100, it turned into, 12 years ago, turned into basically a support race for the Indianapolis 500. There's not a long history of other races in conjunction with the 500, is there?
Oh, no, Mark. In fact, golly, from the time they ran the first 500 in 1911, there were no other support races. And then, in fact, for many years, there was only 1 race a year. They had a second program called the Harvest Day Classic in 1916 in September. And then we came back after the war. It was 1 race a year until the Brickyard 400 was added. In 1994, there was a support race for that. IROC came to town for a while, but to have support events for the Indianapolis 500 is a very recent thing.
Dave Wilson, if I can use your USAC terminology, this isn't a bad B-main.
No, these guys put on a heck of a show here. Yeah, this is a pretty doggone good warm-up for the 98th run.
Michael Young, leaders in front of you.
Zach Beach just passed Gabby Chavez at the entrance of turn number 1, and Beach pulls out to a 3-car length lead. Now Matthew Brabham starting to work on the rear wing of Gabby Chavez. It's Beach, Chavez, Matthew Brabham, then Harvey and Razia.
Beach also has a couple of wins this year in the Indy Light Circuit. Now, the number 3 spot, Brabham goes down to the inside. It's Brabham going to make a terrific move and going to try to get the lead. He will get the lead. He passes the guys in front of him and Beach and Chavez. Now, Matthew Brabham is your top guy.
1 corner and he takes 2 positions. Matthew Brabham, an incredible move through turn number 3. He's not going to be able to hold the lead very long, though. 2 cars tucked up right behind as they draft down the front straightaway.
Good
Brabham,
stuff.
Beach, and Chavez head to turn number 1.
Well, for Matthew Brabham, the move down in turn 3 puts him P1. Zach Beach, then Gabby Chavez. Talk about a move, and we only have about a dozen laps before this thing is over. If it's any indication what we see these last couple of laps, this finish will be just as good, if not better if we can. than last year.
We figured when the race began that Brabham would not want to sit in that number 3 spot very, very long. He did not. He is taking off right now. Zach Veach tucked right under his rear wing. Veach pulls up into corner number 4. Veach there, but he's got company. 1, 2, 3, just that close.
I'm going to have to lobby to extend this thing about 10 laps. I mean, 40 laps is not enough for this kind of entertainment. The front 4 almost disappear behind the leader as they make their way down the straightaway. Brabham in command through turn 1.
Starts to look on the high side. Veach on the high side. Brabham with just about a car length advantage. Now Zach Veach starting to get an idea that he might make a move on the outside. Veach tucks in under the rear wing of Matthew Brabham. Veach then Chavez, but Veach looking awfully racy down to turn 3.
Well, that front threesome is pretty well broken away from the rest of the pack, making it a foursome right now. It is still Brabham. He's got a little bit of a lead, and now we're watching the number 5 car of Gabby Chavez. Chavez putting pressure on the numbers 1 and 2 cars. Turn 4 heading south down the main straightaway.
Those front 5 drivers that have broken away are the first 5 in the championship and make up all of the wins that we've seen. The only driver in that front 5 that hasn't won is Jack Harvey, but he has been wildly consistent. They head to turn number 1. Those front 5 continue to break away, Michael Young.
Been a great season for Zach Veach thus far with a couple of wins, his first ever in the Indy Lights. So we watched him grow up through the USF 2000, the Pro Mazda Series. Matt Brabham last year just dominating Pro Mazda, making his way to the Indy Lights. The battle makes its way to turn 3, and these guys are nose to tail.
And they are driving this track beautifully. Nobody causing any kind of a problem. And now we got a little bit of a 5-car race. The 42 of Jack Harvey has now gotten himself into the mix. So Mark Janes, as they head down that main straightaway, 5 cars out front, they could, any one of them win it.
A couple of them have been told to not use all of the real estate that they think they can use. Jack Harvey, for one, has been told by race control, please stay above the white line. They've warned him for now. The warning for Matt Brabham, Zach Veach wants to lead, Michael Young.
Yes, indeed. Veach working the outside again, and if he makes a move, that might be where he goes. Luis Razia moves up to P4. Zach Veach again tucks underneath the rear wing of Matt Brabham. It's Brabham, Veach, then Gabby Chavez, Razia, and Harvey.
Boy, Brabham has had his mirrors full the entire race since we began back in the yellow. From the yellow, and he's still out in front. That 5-car breakaway has a sizable lead over his number 6, 7, and 8. Mark, here they come again.
Zach Veach continues to run second behind his teammate of Matthew Brabham. About a car length or 2 back to 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but they continue to chug along the front straightaway. Further back, Juan Pablo Garcia, Juan Pedrojita, and Scott Anderson make up the top 9, but the front 5 in front of you, Michael Young.
Well, that 7 car so dominant here in the Indy Lights Series, and Luis Razia, our pole sitter, piloting that car this afternoon. He fell back a little bit, but he's looking awfully racy, making their way down to turn 3, still Matt Brabham.
I don't think you can count Razia out. This kid really can get the job done here at the Speedway. Front 5 cars have not changed since the last time around. Matthew Brabham came out of nowhere, past 2 cars a couple of laps ago. He is still out front, but right now there are 5 battling for the lead.
Based upon what we saw a year ago, Jerry Baker, we can't count Jack Harvey out. He's running at the caboose of that freight train, if you will. And remember, it was Dempsey who went from 4th to 1st. Up turn number 4, they left him enough room to the high side, and Michael Young, he drove into racing immortality as a winner at Indy. These front 5 putting on a heck of a show here at Indy today.
Indeed they are. Gabby Chavez makes a move around Zach Veach, set him up in turn number 1, went around the high side. Now Gabby Chavez moves to P2. Brabham still in the lead.
Chavez now just kind of tucking himself in. They're coming 2 wide down this back straightaway. That battle 2 wide is for the number 4 spot. Down on the inside is the 7 of Luis Razia. He may want to get the number 4 spot. No, he'll have to drop in number 5. Here comes that freight train again.
Yeah, out of turn number 4, it is still Matthew Brabham, about a car length ahead of Gabby Chavez. As we mentioned, those drivers in 4th and 5th started to battle just a bit, but Razia and Harvey, as they cross the line, just 5 to go. But Gabby Chavez has thoughts of looking for the lead, but Zach Veach is right there looking for second, Michael Young.
It's anybody's ball game with 5 to go. Brabham, then Chavez, then Zach Veach, Harvey now to P4, Luis Razia. That 5-car battle heating up, guys. They make their way down to turn number 3. What a finish this is going to be.
This is where it gets just a little bit scary. You may want to press on the accelerator just a little bit more. Take a little bit of a gamble. And now looking down to the inside with nowhere to go. Chavez thought for just a moment he had a space. He did not. Jumps back in line. Brabham adds a little bit of space to that lead.
Razia got that 4th spot over Harvey. They've swapped that spot the last couple of trips around. 4 laps to go. Brabham starts to get a little breathing room. Chavez right there. Zach Veach right there. Then a bit of a gap back to 4th, but Michael Young, those top 3 not running off and hiding just yet for the 4th and 5th place runners.
It is hold your breath time. Matthew Brabham, 2 car length advantage over Chavez and 2 car lengths to Zach Veach. Razia about a car length behind Veach, and then Jack Harvey. Actually, Harvey making a move. Now tucking up underneath the rear wing of Razia. It's Harvey making a move for 4th.
Harvey jumps down to the inside looking for the number 4 spot. Can he hang on to it? I'm not sure he will. It's in the number 7 car of Luis Razia. Hangs on. They're too wide for number 4, but it's still Matthew Brabham out front.
Brabham leads them out of turn number 4. Quickly, let's go back down to the infield. Check in with Greg Rakestraw.
All right, guys, injury update on Chase Austin. Never lost consciousness during the process. Is awake and alert, but unfortunately did suffer a fractured left wrist. So he is going to take the ride down to Methodist Hospital. Sounds like nothing more significant than that. Again, that could be good news given the severity of that crash. Fractured left wrist for Chase Austin. Mark.
No reason to improve or embellish anything that Greg Rakestraw said, given the accident and the seriousness of it. Good news for Chase Austin, and we wish him a quick and speedy recovery. Jerry Baker, battle for second shaping up in front of you with Chavez and Veach.
Chavez and Veach it is, Dean Mark. They are side by side. Down on the inside is Razia. Veach and Brabham still with that battle, Mark, continues to get just a little bit more breathing room.
That battle for second continues to be a side-by-side battle. They battled it out for wins through the first 4 races of the season. Chavez on the inside, Veach to the high side. Brabham has the lead as they cruise through turn number 1.
His way around the outside of Luis Razia. So now Harvey back to 4th. Brabham a comfortable advantage. Then Veach, Chavez. We just talked about Harvey getting around Razia. Those top 5 getting ready to take the white flag next time by.
1 more lap to go, and here they come. They are strung out single file at least for the moment. Brabham has the lead. He has no chance to catch his breath. The 26 car of Veach is right there with him, and Chavez is also in that mix. A little bit of a 3-car breakaway heading down that main straightaway.
What is in store for the final lap around the 2.5-mile oval? White flag in the air as the field comes across the yard of bricks. It's Brabham, then Chavez, and Veach. They're going to go nearly 2, maybe 3 wide. Michael Young, they're in front of you for the final time.
Matt Brabham with the lead on the inside. Gabby Chavez nearly loses control. Zach Veach makes his way around the outside. Now Jack Harvey makes his way to the inside of Chavez for that 3rd place position. Matt Brabham would have dreamed this would be if he could win this Freedom 100 this afternoon. Jerry Baker, here they come.
Matthew Brabham trying to make that car as wide as he can. They're running side by side for the number 2 spot. Brabham comes through on the high side. The number 5 car of Chavez. Inside is Veach. Mark, here they come. It may be just like 2013.
Matt Brabham says, go ahead and mix it up, boys. That gives me all the air that I need. Not so fast. Single file off of turn number 4. They come to the yard of bricks. To the high side goes Gabby Chavez. A photo finish. Chavez wins it. Gabby Chavez, I believe, has won the Freedom 100. Gabby Chavez with a move to the high side. Barely nipped Matthew Brabham. Another incredible photo finish here at the Freedom 100.
He timed it absolutely perfect. Drove on the outside through turns 3 and 4. Got a great draft coming down the front straightaway. And Mark, what a story. Redemption for that driver who lost this race by inches a year ago to that same 5 car. Today, Gabby Chavez goes to victory lane.
Gabby Chavez, Matthew Brabham, Zach Veach, Luis Razia, and Jack Harvey, your top 5 here at the Freedom 100.
Welcome to the Indy 500.
As title sponsor of the 2014 Verizon IndyCar Series, Verizon is advancing the way racing is experienced. With Verizon technology, drivers, crews, and fans can better experience the thrilling moments that make racing legendary.
And the green flag comes out.
Verizon and IndyCar, driving technology. Download the IndyCar 14 app.
Airtime message and data rates may apply. Available on select smartphones. Don't call or text while driving.
Start your engine!
Why would
rivals Scott Dixon, Tony Kanaan, Elio Castroneves, or Marco Andretti risk everything? Each is driven to be the one to win the heart of racing. IndyCar, the heart of racing. The Verizon IndyCar Series. Go to IndyCar.com for live timing and scoring, and for the official IndyCar Twitter feed.
Coming in this time. You are listening to the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you can donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-724-6115. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a non-profit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now. Call 1-800-724-6115. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-724-6115. That's 1-800-724-6115.
Nick Yeoman, can you breathe yet?
That was wild, man. Absolutely incredible. Rob Howden, you're with the winning owner.
Yeah, I got Brian Bellardi down here right now. Brian, dude, 2 years in a row, Freedom 100 winner, 5 1,000ths of a second. This time, Chavez gets the victory.
I'm just so excited for Gabby right now and the whole team. I mean, we put so much into it. Our qualifying wasn't really sure it would have been yesterday. Sorry, I'm out of breath.
That's okay.
My heart's jumping out of my body right now, but back to back. I mean, what can you say?
The kid was third place coming down the back straight, went to second actually for a time there, got all sideways, but what a great run down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key. I mean, you don't want to lead the last lap for sure, but going into the last lap, I should say, but just amazing. I mean, I'm speechless right now.
Decent year so far, buddy. Long Beach and Indianapolis. Well done.
Well, thank you.
There he is, folks. Back down to Greg.
All right, we're going to let Matthew Brabham get a drink of water. I think he deserves it after those 100 miles. An amazing finish, just not the one you wanted. Walk us through what those 40 laps were like.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy there. You know, I think I wanted to lead the race, and when I saw those two battling on the last couple of laps, I thought, you know, maybe I could just stay ahead and get the win. But, yeah, just coming off that last corner, I almost thought I had it pretty much. And then Chavez just came raw around the outside and just pit me. So, you know, it's disappointing to be so close and lose the race, but, you know, I'm happy I was up the front and, you know, I had a shot to win the race, so I was happy.
The action was phenomenal in the final lap, but it was outstanding for all 40 laps. You guys were changing leads early in the race like it was the last lap of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a slipstreaming fest out there. It's so easy to pass each other in the toe, so it was just a matter of tactics and playing it and, you know, weaving in between each other. But, you know, it was a lot of fun racing out there. It was a fun race. It went so short because we were dicing so much and there was so much action going on, but yeah.
I guarantee you, Sir Jack would have been proud. Congratulations on a wonderful effort.
Thanks, yeah.
Mark?
Michael Young, except for the incident involving Chase Austin, you had a lot of fun out there calling a great race today.
What an amazing afternoon. And for Gabby Chavez, it's great to see him win. You know, he was in that battle last year. I think he thought he had won it at one point, and to see him win, he's just one of those fantastic young men. And certainly with the season that he had last year, we thought he would have had an Indy Lights championship. And we always harken back to that race in St. Petersburg where he got into an incident early in the race, and that pretty much cost him a chance at getting that Indy Lights crown. So to see him at Bellardi Racing, fantastic for him. Beautiful day. And Jerry Baker, you can't ask for a much better finish than what we've seen these last couple of years from these Indy Lights drivers.
You know, I'll be honest, 3 or 4 years ago, I wasn't very excited about this race. First off, the cars, even though they were competitive, they couldn't get back to number one, it seemed, to get to the first turn down there. But over the last couple of years, I've become not just a fan, but a lover of this race. Mark and guys, it is a heck of a race. This vantage point back here showed everything that you could possibly ask for. I didn't think we could beat last year's effort at the finish line. If we didn't beat it, we certainly equated it. It was something else.
Back to pit road.
All right, standing by, guys, with Jack Harvey. Jack, what was this experience like for you?
I mean, it's a pretty amazing experience. I mean, not many people
get the opportunity to race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So, I mean, as an experience, the whole week's been pretty good. I mean, the race was pretty disappointing for us. We've had good pace in the car all weekend. We were quickest in the first session, second in qualifying, and finished fifth. Obviously disappointing.
All right, 1 through 9 at the start of this race, really towards the finish of it as well. It seemed there was very little that separated you cars.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's normal on a track like this that the whole cars stay together. I mean, I felt like I was running pretty comfortable in fourth. Tried to close the gap to the others and just couldn't do it. And I mean, I think we maybe didn't quite get the right gears in. I was hitting the limiter quite a lot. So to say where we were and where we finished, pretty disappointed.
Hey, Jack, again, congratulations on the effort. Best of luck on the next stop.
Thank you.
Mark?
Dave Wilson, it's a good thing we've moved past the era of photo finishes, because finishes like the last 2 years would take a while to decipher.
Yeah, I don't know how they used to do it. I guess they just had a lot of people watching the start-finish line. But, of course, back then they didn't have a lot of finishes like this. So that was a pretty cool deal to see this year. This is the kind of talk and the kind of buzz that really can help ignite this series. I know, obviously, with the Anderson now in charge of running things, and Cooper Tires on board, and I think with this brand new car that they've introduced, I think it's just going to be a springboard. And they keep having races like that. There's nothing but the sky's the limit for this series.
Let's go downstairs, meet the winner of the Freedom 100. Gabby Chavez is with Rob Howden.
Gabby Chavez, we can actually say it right now. Everybody's coming in giving him congratulations. Last year's second place, dude. This year, you were the guy that came around the outside, 5,000ths of a second of victory. Tell me how you feel. You just won the Freedom 100.
Man, I don't know how to describe it. You can hear my voice. I'm out of voice because I was just yelling so loud on the, just that victory lap. I can't describe this. I'm so happy. The team deserves this. We deserve it. I've worked so hard to be where I am, and just to see myself get that one step closer to where I want to be, it's just, I'm speechless.
Let me walk me through that final lap. You obviously went to the inside trying to maybe even take the lead in turn one, but the car got a little loose coming out of two. It was a pretty hectic moment.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't try to take the lead in turn one. I was just trying to get around Zach for second position. I thought I had a better shot at the win if I was in second on the last lap. It didn't work out, maybe thankfully, I don't know. But I was just able to hang on to the car. Well, got a little loose for sure, but just got a good run. Made my way around the outside of Zach in turn 3. Got a good run of a 4 and made the pass for the win.
Obviously, crazy pack racing. Who was your spotter up in the tower today?
Man, believe it or not, we got Stephen Wilson, who was spotted for Peter Dempsey last year, so that makes 2 for 2 for him and for the number 5 car in Velarde Auto Racing. So I'm happy for the guys; they deserve it, and I'm so happy too.
What a year! Win at Long Beach, win at Indianapolis. It's going good so far.
Oh, it's going great, man. I can't wait to see, what the future holds this season.
Gabby, congratulations!
Thank you.
There he is, folks, the winner of the Freedom 100.
And how about Brian Velarde in the course of a year? 2 wins at Indianapolis and 1 at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Donald Davidson, what an amazing finish for the second year in a row in the Freedom 100. We mentioned a few years ago, when exactly was it when we moved Carb Day from Thursday to Friday? Whenever it was, clearly from a fan standpoint, it was the right move.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Carb Day always got a big crowd, or at least from the 1970s it did, and it was amazing because it was just basically a practice session for the cars that had qualified for the 500, and that was it. But now with the added race, and then definitely moving it to Friday, and whether that is that people take off Friday or whether you've got the out-of-towners come in early, there is now a huge crowd here. I mean, I was hearing about traffic jams this morning, and one quick note about your point on the safety. I noticed, how other racetracks and overseas used to get criticism for the response time. I counted down there within a matter of moments. I counted 12 vehicles down there. I think there was 2 ambulances and the rest support vehicles. But just the response here has always been phenomenal.
Final word after this on IndyCar Radio.
There are few greater traditions in sports than when the 500-mile race winner pulls into victory lane and is greeted with an ice-cold bottle of milk. And consider this, the 500's bottle of milk tradition has been recognized nationally as the sports world's coolest prize. Now and always, milk's the driver's favorite taste at the end of the race.
Get the calcium, vitamins, and protein you need to compete with a refreshing glass of milk. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association, your Indiana dairy farm families.
Remember, winners drink milk.
This is Lauren Bolander-Kanan, and my husband Tony won the 2013 Indianapolis 500, and he knows fast. So when the youngest Kanan, Leo, or any of us get sick, we use the Exergen Smart Glow Temporal Scanner. The Exergen Smart Glow is so easy, simple to use, and it's fast. The Exergen Smart Glow Temporal Scanner is the #1 choice of nurses, pediatricians, and families nationwide. In IndyCar, every second counts, and the same is true when someone in your family is sick. So always use the Exergen Smart Glow Thermometer for the accurate read that is fast.
You are listening to the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio.
Put the same award-winning video and multimedia service that IndyCar and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway use to work for you and your company. IMS Productions continues to grow, working with new media technologies, large agencies like Hirons and Borshoff, manufacturers like Honda and Toyota, pharmaceuticals like Lilly and GlaxoSmithKline, and teams like the Colts and Pacers. So if your marketing department wants to add a little MPH to their MP3s and MOVs, then go to imsproductionstv.com. That's imsproductionstv.com. Now you can bring back your favorite memories of the Indy 500 with the IMS Radio Network.
Here's the checkered flag for Jim Rathman, the winner of the 44th annual 500-mile race.
Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second.
Go to IndianapolisMotorSpeedway.com to purchase copies of classic Indy 500 broadcasts.
And Helio Castro Neves climbs the fence in the front straight.
Johnny Rutherford wins the 1980 Indianapolis 500.
IndianapolisMotorSpeedway.com.
Live coverage of the Freedom 100 on IndyCar Radio is brought to you in part by Firestone. Firestone believes that finish lines are for quitters. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. The Indy Racing Experience, the fastest seat in sports. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Henchman Racing Uniforms. Nothing fits like a Henchman. By Carfax. Avoid buying a used car with flood damage. Carfax makes it easier. Shop for the right used car with the right history at Carfax.com. Exergen's new Smart Glow Temporal Scanner Thermometer. It's making life easier for today's families. Progressive Insurance. Last year, over 3 million drivers switched to Progressive. Call or click today to find out if you could save. The American Dairy Association. Winners drink milk. And Verizon and IndyCar, driving technology, the 2014 Verizon IndyCar Series. The network general manager is Wally Levitt. Production by Chris Pollack, master control by Paul Levitt. RF provided by Norm Birnbaum. The chief engineer is Rick Evans. In the booth, Nick Yeoman, Dave Wilson, and the historian of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Donald Davidson. In the turns, Jerry Baker and Michael Young. In the pits today, Rob Howden and Greg Rakestraw. Verizon IndyCar 14 and Internet Stream provided by Dave Schwab. I'm Mark James, reminding you to join us Sunday, May 25th for the greatest spectacle in racing, the 98th running of the Indianapolis 500 at 11 a.m. Eastern on the IMS Radio Network. Again, congratulations to Gabby Chavez, winner of the Freedom 100. This program is copyrighted by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network. This is IndyCar Radio on the IMS Radio Network.